All right, everybody, thanks for joining us on YouTube and Facebook Live. Got about 1 minute of practice remaining, and then we'll get you underway here with this 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. here in Wauwatosa round. And there's a lot of PBA 50 superstars in this squad for the PBA League Bowler Certification National Championships.
Alright, bowlers, your 5 minutes of practice now complete. To begin scoring, please hit the check mark on your scoring monitor. Thank you for being a part of this inaugural event. Let's give these competitors a nice round of applause. Good bowling and high scores to all.
All right, and with those final announcements, we are underway here. Well, it's going to be an interesting day today. Previous squads, for those of you that join us on the PBA YouTube channel and the PBA Lead Bowler Certification Facebook page, you've seen a lot of us having a single guest in the booth the entire day during a squad. We're mixing it up today. We're going to bring in a gentleman a lot of bowlers are familiar with. A lot of bowlers took a little bit of a surprise when all of a sudden they saw you appear at a PBA 50 event as a member a little ways back. John Janowitz, most people know him from Kegel Bowling. He had a great amateur career as well, and now a member of the PBA. What was the choice to pull the trigger on the PBA membership now you turned 50?
There's a few different things to do that. I got the opportunity to, and everybody said a whole lot about it, but yeah, like I said, my employer Kegel, they've given me the freedom to be able to bowl the whole PBA 50 tour. So like I said, that was a lot of the incentive to get my card, because otherwise I was just going to probably just bowl the majors and then maybe bowl a local Florida spot in one of the Florida stop villages or Fort Myers perhaps.
Okay.
But yeah, like I said, they give me the freedom to be able to do this, so that made the decision a lot easier, to get my card. And like I said, also being able to bowl the whole tour and what I mean, it's always a dream come true. I mean, that's something I always wanted to do when I was younger, and you never between health-wise and a lot of different other reasons,
Okay.
with back problems, never pursued it. But yeah, like I said, it's great to be able to do it, and so far, I mean, things have been good. So far as a
really
PBA
good.
member, off to a decent start.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No doubt about it. I mean, a couple of seasons back, we had Tom Hess with Rookie and Player of the Year award in the same season. And as of right now, I mean, we're only three events in, basically, and two of those being super senior events, or 4 events in, 2 being super senior events. Yeah, you've had a pretty good record so far, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
So is there any extra research going on while you're on tour that, seeing how lane conditions are on tour, how balls react? As Eric Pearson gives you the thumbs up on the way by. Gentlemen, you're very familiar with, and Eric handling the lane conditionings here at the LBC National Championships at Bolero Wauwatosa. It's a home game for Eric, so it works out pretty nice for him.
Absolutely.
So is it just bowling the tour, or is there a little research going on with that, or is it just enjoying your time out
it's
there?
Really just bowling, and like anything else. I mean, there's a degree of, I'm always going to take, look at emails and things like that. I mean, some of that stuff, that never stops.
Right.
But, as far as, taking care of the tournaments, we've got a couple of the other guys that, are going to be handling some of the international events and some of the other, like junior gold stuff that I would normally be at. And also, I mean, we did need to kind of start getting other people involved, some younger people involved, to do my job anyway. 'Cause I mean, even though I like to think I've got a few more years left in me, like anything, it's it's never too early to start training the next generation of lanemen out there.
Absolutely. I saw, actually, training the next generation, I see a young man on the squad, Brandon Malish, who just won the International Bowling Media Association Chuck Pisano Award here bowling today. So it's like, I want to talk to the young man and go, hey, I know he's going to Wichita State for video production, but hey, any advice you can give me on my stuff here?
Right.
So,
nice.
So, but yeah, as you said, you got to get the younger generation involved and keep the knowledge going, no doubt about it. So,
absolutely.
How many countries have you been to? In your travels?
It's either 41 or 42.
Okay.
I was keeping track of it, but I haven't looked at it in a little while. I knew I was over 40, but I want to say it's either 41 or 42. So, yep.
Now this morning you took on the lanes, 6 games across the house. You were on a pair with a lady who had a lot of success this morning. Faraday Crowley. My goodness. Next thing you know, I turned around. I was there for 298. She left the stubborn 4-9 on the last ball. I ran around doing some other things with Neil Stremmel and Chris Barnes and that. All of a sudden I come back and she's got 1,500 on the board.
Oh, yeah.
15-22 for the finish.
She bowled unbelievable. Yeah, I tried to stay within 20 a game and still failed. So, yeah, I mean, she's obviously very good.
And she trains a lot at Kegel where you work, correct?
Yep.
So absolutely. It's not limited to just PBA or PWBA pros or college kids to go to Kegel. If somebody was out there averaging 160 and wanted to get better, they could take advantage of you guys on a Kegel.
So we have private lessons. We have group lessons. Have camps, over the course of the year. So, I mean, yeah, absolutely. Like I said, we're just not open to, open play or anything like that. There's no, open leagues or anything along those lines,
Right.
But, yeah, like I said, when it comes to private lessons and, group lessons, clinics, and camps, yeah, like I said, that happens year-round.
So will you get text messages or calls this weekend from tournaments about lane patterns, that kind of thing, or is this pretty much now you got kind of a free weekend for yourself?
No. Yeah, I mean, I still get people that'll call me and Facebook messages and text about people ask me to help them with their house pattern or design a tournament pattern that they're having. I mean, I got a couple of those emails I got to work on a little bit later, but yeah, I mean that's a never-ending thing. Literally, it's it's kind of my life. So.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is that anybody, and this is just my personal opinion, everybody, so take it for what it's worth. Anybody can push a button and put a pattern down in the lane. It doesn't take an artist to do something like that. It takes an artist like yourself. I've known Eric Pearson for a lot of years, with him being local in the Milwaukee area. It's more art. I think it's more art than science on conditioning lanes. But is that an old look at it, or is it still now really down to a science to make sure it's right?
Well, I mean, Kegel has added a lot more science, and with our machines being able to measure, the amount of volume that's put on each lane. But how you apply that oil for that given lane surface based on what you're trying to accomplish in that tournament, whether you're trying to get higher scores or lower scores or medium scores, and balancing that, knowing the kind of competition and how with the quality of your players that you've got, and then trying to meet that scoring pace, because obviously when you're what the junior gold players average 230 on and what the PBA players average 230 on, that's two very different conditions on the same lane surface.
Yeah.
So because we're dealing with different skill sets, and like I said, so to know and to be able to do that, I mean, yeah, that's a definite art, and it just takes a lot of experience. And like anything else, I mean, it's there's still a lot of trial and error involved in that. And you still get surprised here and there. I mean, sometimes we can get it right here and there, but I mean, like anything, it's it's a lot like bowling. I mean, you're trying to figure out, okay, which ball do you want to use? I mean, sometimes
right.
you make the right decision, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you play the wrong part of the lane, sometimes you don't. Well, it's no different than no different when it comes to doing lanes. Sometimes you think this design with this amount of volume at this distance is going to work, and sometimes it doesn't. So like I said, it's. We're slowly getting more science involved in it, but yeah, like I said, it's by far still, as far as I'm concerned, more art than science.
And it's just interesting when you see the care and the craft that people like you have, like I said, with Eric Pearson. Mm-hmm. I mean, Eric Pearson is making sure before every squad of this tournament, he's walking the lanes, he's making sure the patterns are applied the same way to every. There's only so much you can see visually, but you can tell, like, all of a sudden, if there's a streak where a part may have caught or a drive motor may not have worked correctly, so you see it look and go, hold on.
Yeah.
It's just the amount of care you guys take to put into your jobs is just phenomenal to make sure competition's balanced, whether it's a 1-day event, 3-day event, or a 7-week event like this one is.
It's to me, it's just like the elite levels in bowling. It's about details.
Yeah.
And in the job like that Eric and I do, I mean, it's very detail oriented, and the more things that you think about, that you try to make sure that all the bases are covered, then historically the tournaments tend to go at least a little better. They may not go perfect, but I mean, at least they tend to be better. Where same thing, at the elite level. I mean, that's what usually separates the greats from kind of the next tier down is some of them are a little more attention to detail. Just seeing, certain things in ball motion a little bit quicker, understanding equipment a little bit better, understanding lane play a little bit better. I mean, just the small things, and it's no different in lane maintenance as far as I'm concerned.
All right, we got some people in the chat. If you have questions for John Janowitz, he's going to only give me in for the first game. Glad to have him in here, but if you're going to ask him quickly, please, because we want to make sure that with all the fans that are watching, we want to make sure we get those questions answered as well. Trying to figure out where it looks like Jason Couch has got the first 5 out here. It wasn't that tough to get to the pocket with this LBC National pattern. It seemed like for a lot of skilled players today, it's the little minute things to figure out how to kick corners. Mm-hmm. And so many people ball on house patterns where it's just a ton of oil between 10 and 10, and they don't put enough oil on the outsides really to kind of balance things out. How many centers call you up for advice on their house patterns even nowadays? Do you get a lot of calls?
I mean, that's kind of a daily deal for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's part of what I do for tech support. So yeah, that's part of like I said, just part of it. You know, like I said, so you know, it's always a challenge.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like I said, because everyone's got different different problems. You know, some they're all trying to get scores higher, but you have to kind of part of the challenge is asking the right questions more than anything, because sometimes, they want higher scores. Well, okay, what's the problem? I mean, is there not enough swing? Is there not enough hold? Is there, does it fall apart too fast? There's a lot of reasons why, people don't get scores as high as they should be. So, and sometimes, that information is not always clear, because, you're getting, you're getting this coming from a head mechanic who may not bowl, who's now getting it from the general manager, who's getting an earful from the bowlers. So, I mean, it's kind of like, third-hand information sometimes. So, you just have to ask better questions a lot of times to paint a better picture of what the problem really is.
So it's not just I need five more units of oil on the outside or another 3 mil. It's a very detailed process.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's not like we just spit it into a computer. We need higher scores, and it just spits it out. It doesn't work that way. I mean, so it's. And frankly, if I didn't ask a lot of those questions, I wouldn't be doing my job very well either.
Okay. So, well, here's a guy that's done his job pretty well for a lot of years. Chris Barnes. He's sitting on the front 3 currently.
Yep.
Or front 5 currently.
Yep.
We'll make it front 6. Ho hum. It's just Barnes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What? Just as an observer of the game, and you've seen so many bowlers around the world and so many international competitions, and I'm sure you've been Chris's teammate more than once. Mm-hmm. Is the mental side of his game or the physical side of his game the real key to his success as he's gotten older? I
think the experience and the mental part more than anything. Yeah, like I said, I mean, he still throws it really, really good. Yeah. I mean, so from a physical standpoint, I mean, I don't think he's really lost anything there. But, I mean, just that experience of, all those years bowling on tour and, the things that you've seen and already knowing, okay, I've already seen this. I already know what to do. Or at least, you've eliminated a lot of the potential options. I think that's, the big thing, when you're dealing with, players of this age and, and that have spent so many years on national tour. They've seen that change so fast for so many years that, like you said, now all of a sudden, when you get on, an event like this where you're dealing with, a lot less, rev rate, and change happens a lot slower. I mean, combine that with the fact that he can still execute really, really good. Yeah, that's why he still bowls really well, even to this day.
We'll get you back over to Chris Barnes in a moment. I know people were looking at Pete Weber there for a second. For those of you watching on YouTube, if you want to watch any of your favorite players as they come across, obviously we've got all the listings on the live section of the YouTube page, and you can click on the individual pairs, or if you're watching us right now on the main feed, open up the tab there with the description of what's going on. You'll see in the description page, it's got all the links to all of our pairs in play. It'll kick a second tab open for you so you can watch that pair. Keep us on here in the main feed, just on the basis of we'll have great guests like John Janowitz and other ones coming in all day long. And everybody knows John. Everybody knows JJ, no matter where he's at.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing, Ridge?
Okay. PBA Junior logo hat on. Has the PBA consulted you on any of those PBA Junior pairs? Because I saw like they have the McCune and the Tackett.
Yeah,
no, they didn't consult
they have
on
not,
those.
no,
Okay,
no.
I just know how close the PBA and Kegel works together sometimes on patterns for tournaments.
Not that I'm aware of.
That
At least not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
No. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because I still remember one of the funnest events ever for the PBA that was an exhibition was King of the Lanes, the first one at the Kegel Training Center. And
oh, yeah.
The strikes or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't there supposed to be a tournament there one time where they were going to offer a huge prize if the team record got broken, and then the USBC kind of put their foot down and said, you can't?
Well, that was kind of the backstory why the pin carry was so good was, John, there hadn't been a 4,000 series, at that time, and there still hasn't been now. But, that was one of the things that John wanted to try to do was to see if he could create, the perfect environment with ideal pin carry, the best shape lanes, and back in the 3-unit day, still create a legal lane condition, and see if they could get a team to shoot 4,000. Yeah. And that was part of the incentive was there was going to be a $1 million bonus.
Wow.
If any team, 5-person team, could shoot 4,000. And it never got off the ground because, had all the backing and everything, but I think it was like within a month or so before, month and a half before the tournament, I think we had 2 teams signed up. And even though we had all that money was guaranteed, it was apparent that, that was one of the things also that John Davis also wanted to prove was that, a lot of times, at the house level, people will say, oh, yeah, I'll great bowler, this or that, but when it comes to putting up the money, they don't want to do that. So it's a house condition. It's the highest scoring, but when they got to put up their own $200, they'll just stay at home.
How much did Jason Cragen pay to bowl on this pair? I mean, this is almost like an auction prize for a fundraiser or something. You have Jason Couch, Chris Barnes, and Walter Ray Williams Jr. on your pair while you're bowling the LBC National Championships.
Yeah, I mean that's pro-am material right there if I've ever seen it.
No doubt.
Bowled all the Hall of Famers.
But usually you get them one at a time. You don't get them all 3 at once.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah. Other pairs not too shabby either. Robert Lawrence, Tommy Baker. I mean, this is a heck of a squad.
Yeah. It's going to be good. And you're going to be fighting these guys off starting Monday.
Yeah.
Down in Hammond. Not too far of a drive for you.
Nope.
You ever bowled at Olympia Lanes before?
Never have. Nope. Never been to Hammond either.
Okay.
Nope.
It's the staff at the center. They are always on top of everything. Mike Hosey's got a great staff there. I covered some events back in the Extra Frame and Flow Bowling days. And if you need a quick bite, the sub sandwiches at the snack bar inside of Olympia Lanes are phenomenal.
Okay, good to know.
There's no doubt about it. Yeah, it's going to be a great event. And the pro-ams are a lot. It's nice because there's so many industrial workers still in the Hammond area, Hammond and Gary and all that they scheduled 3 different pro-am times because basically the second shift guys can come in and bowl the 1 o'clock pro-am.
Okay.
And then the third shift guys can come in and bowl the 8 o'clock pro-am before they go to work and that kind of thing. So
nice.
Yeah,
nice.
So it's a nice pro-am he has there as well. It's going to be good. So
good.
So you wrap up in Florida with the PBA 50 tour, and then it's is this just going to be a one-season thing, or you think it's going to?
I don't know. I mean,
it's up to Kegel, huh?
Yeah, like I said, it's basically going to be up to them. And but like I said, either way, I'm very, very grateful for the opportunity they've given me. So like I said, we're just going to try to make the most out of it, this year, and then just see how these next couple months go.
How did you initially get involved with Kegel? How hired on there? Was it for a position with lane conditioning, or was it something?
Well, I had known John Davis for many years because he used to hold these 10-game sweepers once a month back in the late 80s through the 90s called the Option. And once a month, 10 games total pins, a very simple format. And but every month there would be different lane conditions. So they'd be long, there'd be short patterns, they'd be easy, they'd be hard. So you could pretty much see, all different kinds of things. I mean, there were times where I remember it would take 500 over to win the tournament.
Oh, geez.
And then the next month it might take 20 under. You know, and I was always fascinated by, you know, how through lane conditioning, you know, how in the same bowling center you could change scoring pace that much. And, you know, I got to a point where, you know, I wasn't getting any better. I felt like I kind of hit a wall in like 1997 range. And, you know, this is obviously before, you know, Kegel Training Center, before ITRC, before, you know, Turbo 2-in-1, you know, their training center, you know, before OBBA in Washington. You know, so it was hard for me to find, you know, help on, you know, how do I get better? You know, and what do I need to work on? And, you know, just being fascinated with lane maintenance, and also in 1997, John Davis had taken over the PBA for lane maintenance, you know, for all the regions and for National Tour and the Senior Tour. So, you know, I kind of thought to myself, you know, man, that would be a neat way to learn more about the game and about a subject that I've always been very fascinated about. So I asked him, you know, around 1990, you know, late 97, you know, hey, you need any help? And he said, as of right now, not yet, but we might. And but he, you know, he wanted me to get some more experience. And at that time, the USBC Open Championship, then the ABC tournament, was in 1998 was going to be in Reno, and you know, the late Mike Strani was in charge of lane maintenance, and you know, Mike was looking for some help. So through John Davis, he actually got me on the lane crew in 1998 to work the USBC Open Championships, and my roommate was Eric Pearson. That's where I first met him.
Okay.
You know, we Mike Strani hooked us up, you know, because that was going to be his first event too. So we literally both started the same time, and we had a lot of late night conversations talking about how to fix the game and lane maintenance, and we were both learning. It was a great experience. That's how we've been friends for, you know, 25 years. But after we worked that, John Davis asked afterward, like, you know, hey, we got this. Wonder if you could stick around for a couple more weeks. I'm like, really? How come? We got this new tournament that apparently they've asked us to help us with. I think it's called like Junior Olympic Gold or something like that. You know, I'm like, sure, yeah, I'll stick around. Yeah, I kill time for a week, and then y'all work that week. And so that ended up being, you know, the first Junior Gold tournament in '98, and I worked that, and then we got done with that, and you know, came back in, you know, around the first part of July, and. A couple weeks later, went to go see John and say, hey, you still need help for tour or whatnot? And he said, actually, yeah, we do. And hired me on to the end of July. And, the end of this month will be 25 years with them.
It's amazing. Wow. Just from bowling. Just from bowling with the guy that developed everything that's been crucial to lane. I mean, honestly, crucial lane maintenance.
He was building lane machines at the back of the bowling center. Yeah. You know, and so he kind of used that event is also, you know, a kind of a testing ground for some of, you know, the patterns that the machines could put out, and also, you know, how well the lane machines would work too.
Yeah. Wow, that's incredible. That's amazing. Yeah. Speaking of incredible, amazing, we talked about him a little bit earlier.
Yep.
Front 10 for Barnesy.
Yeah. Yeah. Not
hum.
Yeah. Not much of a you know, Shanghai surprise there, but so.
Whoop.
Nope.
So. Somebody said something, and I mean, he's got a bit of a crowd behind him down there right now.
Oh, yeah.
There's a few people hung around from the last squad. There's a few people that are watching him now. And
Yep. Maybe some of his fellow senior hecklers, perhaps. You know,
there's no heckling on the senior tour.
Yeah.
Not much of that. Good, my goodness. I haven't. The pranks have come down a little bit recently, but. Flat Gary's here. Flat Gary's cheering on Chris Barnes. Have you had a picture with Flat Gary yet?
No, I have not. No, I actually don't know. I don't even know the story behind Flat Gary. So
I don't remember the whole story either. I remember the story about Gary having a mouse in his car for 3 stops on the senior tour a couple of years back. He couldn't find the mouse till finally, they found it belly up one day. So, but yeah, Flat Gary, a.k.a. Buzz Lightyear. I don't think he looks that much like.
Oh man, that's classic.
Tim Allen, or Buzz Lightyear, but it's good.
Man.
Well, once again, Barnes. I didn't look at his score sheet. Let me see what division he's bowling in out here.
Yeah.
So somebody grab. Oh, here it is, right here. Chris Barnes is bowling the senior classic.
Right.
Didn't know if he'd want to go down, because there were a couple of guys that were questioning that. Because the Open Classic's the $25,000 on top, Senior Classic's $5,000. But either way, you can make your way to Portland.
Yep.
He likes it, and you see why.
Yep.
And there it is, 300 to
Yep.
start off
Yeah.
this event for Chris. Yeah, ho-hum, a few
Yeah.
high fives. And
Yeah. Good start. No spares. Yeah, that's good. No spare ball needed yet. So
good score for Couch. Walter Ray, he's coming
Yeah.
off that big win, though, in Columbus a few days ago. And he was giving him a run yesterday in the regional. You ended up taking down.
Yeah. He bowled well.
He was top 4 yesterday, wasn't he?
Yep.
Was he in
Yep.
the
He was
Final
top 4 for a long time. Yep.
So,
Yep.
It's awesome to see.
Yep.
So we've got Lane Mumit. John, thanks for sitting in with us for a game.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. I know you've got things to run and go do. Are you coming back at all for the Peterson this weekend? I know
Actually,
there's some
I'm
other
not.
players. You're not?
No,
Okay.
actually, I'm not. No. I'm like I said, I'm going to spend some time down south, and then, like I said, I'm going to head to Hammond first thing Monday morning. So.
All right. Well, enjoy your time. Thanks for sitting in with us for a game. It's always appreciated.
Absolutely.
Safe travels. And
yeah, thanks for having me, Phil. Really appreciate it.
I'm sure along the senior tour this year, one time or another, I'll see you, no doubt about it.
Sounds great.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Game 2 underway. We'll get another PBA Tour player in here momentarily. Not quite of the senior caliber yet. But one PJ Haggerty in the house. He's chatting with some of the other players out here right now. PJ will be taking the lane 7 o'clock tonight. And you just saw Chris Barnes a little earlier. You saw him with his perfect game. And we'll get over to Barnes again right now. He's ended the streak at 12 in a row. What a pairing, though. And our table just got hit again, so we'll get that fixed. So once again, good squad here. I mean, Robert Lawrence, former U.S. Open champion, Jason Couch, Hall of Famer, Chris Barnes, Hall of Famer, Walter Ray, Hall of Famer, Tom Baker, Hall of Famer, Bakes. See, it's kind of cool. It's kind of a laid-back atmosphere with the dress code here. Obviously, even though these players are PBA and PBA 50 members, it's a little bit of a relaxed dress code for the LBC National Championships. So it's kind of cool to see guys like Tom S. bowling in shorts, or Tom Baker bowling in a pair of, bowling in jeans. You know, you could tell before it was a little loose when Barnes was going up to shoot that 300 and somebody said something in the crowd before he shot the 11th one. Yeah, it's a little loose in this tournament, but they all know there's a lot of money on the line. I mean, as many PBA 50 members as we have on this squad. I mean, currently 14-14, Bill Montz, local player out of Menominee Falls, Wisconsin, put that up last week. 14-14, I don't think it's going to make it through this squad with all the superstars on it. So, Scotty Thompson, so you got that question in the chat about the plastic bowling balls. Yeah, I've seen nobody throwing it on first ball. It's just too much, like John Janowitz was talking about with lane volumes and stuff. Other than if it was somebody that was maybe entered in the men's or women's handicap divisions that maybe have just started bowling in the last year or two. Yeah, you're not going to see a lot of polyester. You'll see it for strikes. No doubt about it, but you're not going to see it on first ball attempts, especially on a squad of this caliber. The volume just too much. Well, Barnes finding his striking shoes once again after the second frame open, and now Walter Ray trying to make a comeback after a rough start with 193. Walter Ray on the front five. Barnes strikes again. So we'll get you back over to that pairing in a little bit. Nice to see Jason Couch making the return after some knee surgeries. Going to hit as many stops in the PBA 50 Tour as he can this year. taking a quick peek around here thanks to our friends at Lane Talk. We're going to see if anybody has the pursuit of perfection going. I mean, we saw the front bunch there for Walter Ray that we're still on. Walter Ray on the front 7. And that looks to be about it here in game 2. What can you say about a man that's won 126 titles across PBA? You can say you didn't carry the strike in the 8th for another perfect game. And we know Walter has well over 100 PBA perfect games. We've seen him do it one-handed. We've even seen him do it two-handed on the PBA 50 Tour. Few years back in Minnesota, had a stop at River City Extreme during qualifying. Walter Ray two-handed took down perfection. So we'll stick with the hot pair here, even though Walter Ray can no longer get perfect game. Still put up 279, bounced back off that 193 opening game. Tom S. having a bit of a struggle here in game 2. He's going to max out 2-0 range, but it's still possible to get to that big 1,500 number. It seems to be, the big goal. We saw Verdi Crowley do that earlier today. As we mentioned, 14-14 leading the Senior Open. 15:07 leading the Open Classic division. Derek Kindig, your player in that position. Former player at McKendree University. And now, the highest 6-game block shot so far by anyone during this LBC National Championships. Verdi Crowley on the 9 a.m. squad today. 15-22, a low game of 225. So Walter Ray still with the chance for 279. We'll get a few more players here in the main pair spotlight during Game 3. We'll get PJ Haggerty and David O'Sullivan in the booth as well shortly. Maybe we'll just let those two go at it. We got Beef and Barnesy. Why not PJ and Sully? I don't know. What would be a good name for that? And, a couple of quality players you can talk about getting the questions in for, whether on YouTube or on the Facebook, LBC Facebook page, in the comments there as well. Get your questions in for PJ Haggerty or David O'Sullivan, and we'll get them in the booth coming up next year in Game 3 after player movement here. Bolero Wauwatosa the site this weekend and one more till we wrap up the inaugural PBA LBC National Championships. everybody. It's not game 2. It's actually game 3. We got the game change coming around shortly. They just got started here with the, I don't want to say it's the Old Fart squad, but there's a lot of PBA 50 guys on here. These guys might say it's the Old Fart squad, though. PJ Haggerty, David O'Sullivan in here, and you guys are going to take the lanes at 7 o'clock tonight, correct?
That's right.
Oh, so I'll have to find where Barnes is at now, because then you guys, well, you can't rip on Barnes, though. He started with 300. That's the bad part.
Yeah, but he just pulled 201.
Oh, so he's 500 for 2. Okay, so he's behind Verity Crowley pace. Did you catch any of that this morning?
I saw some. I was practicing. She bombed him.
Yeah.
I watched, like, I don't know, 2 or 3 shots, but I saw what she bowled afterwards. I was like, wow.
Yeah, it was amazing. 225 low game, 1522 for the total. No one of any particular gender has put up that total to this point in the event with this weekend and one more to go. And what does it take to average 250 for 6 games? Or actually, it's closer to 255 for 6 games.
Hook and hold for sure. Definitely got to be in the right ball in the right part of the lane. She's sharp as can be right now. She's bowling really well, and she bowls everything. I bowled her quite a bit down south, and she's kind of she doesn't miss many tournaments, so she's pretty sharp.
No, she doesn't.
Also, Phil, navigating the center, when we were here for the World Series, this place can be pretty tricky pair to pair, kind of across the house. So for her to be as sharp as she is and put up that big of a number, that's pretty impressive, because been a lot of good bowlers that have come through, and there's still quite a few left to go, but you could probably lock her in for the women's division.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Danielle McEwen had the score to be, like 1479. Yeah, that one's pretty much going to hold up, and then 45 pins later.
Yeah.
Or 43 pins later. Here goes Verity Crowley.
Did Diana bowl that squad, or she's bowling?
She's on that squad too. I don't know how well she did. I don't think it was.
Huh.
Things didn't jump out at me a lot. I was running around getting a little video done with John Janowitz. Not after. Well, after the squad was done with John Janowitz and Neil Stremmel, and before that, Barnes was taking up some. That Barnes guy, he gets in the building and thinks it's all about him.
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden, I got to do a video with Neil, and then when it turns into 2 videos, and no, it was a good time though.
I just noticed, guys, on our screen here, Lenny Borish. Dave had pointed out the first game, he bowled 279. I see his total for 557, which means he had 278 game 2.
Yeah.
And the front 3 here.
Yeah, he's only bowled in the center a few times in his career.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's from this area. He probably knows this center like the back of his hand.
It used to be, now back in the day, I mean, obviously, this place was Wood Lanes till 2001 before they had the WIBC National Tournament here. And the big tournament side was actually the low side of the house, which we're not using. They use it for the Peterson and the Lumberjack now. There were a lot of tournaments over there back in the day with Wisconsin Scratch, singles, doubles, team, all kinds of stuff. And that you talk about one side of the house that Lenny knew probably better in his home house in Racine. Was probably that side. He had a lot of those state titles back in the day when those tournaments were around.
Yeah, even when you know the lane to lane, you still got to be pretty good to bowl scores like that. I mean, you could tell everybody in this field, make a 4-1 or a 6-3 or whatever, right. But it's another thing to bowl 270. Who else is on his pair? That Dave Taylor. He's a local guy down in Florida.
Yeah.
Pro shop guy.
Allstott runs centers in Indiana, Illinois. So he's a guy that's constantly bowling the 50 tour stuff during the summer.
Yeah.
We can get away from the center. There's quite a few of those players on the 50 tour that are proprietors during the regular season, and then once the 50 season rolls around and things slow down at home, they get a chance to get out and bowl. Lenny's got his own pro shop at Castle Lanes in Racine for, I think it's got to be 40 years now. He started that when he was pretty young.
Good for him.
So that's the tough part sometimes, is that if you're on a PBA tour or PBA 50 tour schedule, and when your customers are patient enough to wait a couple of weeks to get a ball drilled and not go somewhere else, it just goes to show, as Lenny celebrates another strike.
Yep.
Sure.
No, it just goes to show, the personality Lenny has, that he keeps his customers coming back. They wait for him to come back, and what a good job he does for him down there. So
yeah, he definitely looked like, PJ, I don't know if you caught that, like that was significantly further left in the front of the lane than he was when we were watching him a game ago. So he must know that this pair is hooking more, or at least that left lane is.
Do you think you're going to be able to, I mean, you were here, PJ, for the World Series back in April. You're going to be able to use some of that intel you dug out then for this?
Yeah, I actually had some conversations with some of the reps that we had when we were here for the World Series, because there was a couple mysteries in this place that we kind of learned over the week and a half that we were here. And hopefully it plays true for the 6 games that we have tonight. We don't really know what pairs we're going to hit yet, but it's our job to be prepared and make sure that we know where those places potentially could be. And so, yeah, we'll see. But looking forward to the event tonight.
Now, knowing the pattern, seeing all the volume and the ratios and everything on the PBA LBC website before you came out here, that really had to help with the packing. I assume you guys flew out here?
Yep, flew.
So, yeah, it helped with the packing and the shipping, getting stuff here. Was that that looked like it was a 258, I thought, there on or 358 on 40. That can't be right. My eyes got to be deceiving.
I think it was a 124.
124,
I saw it
okay.
too, yeah.
I'm like thinking to myself, that'd be weird, 3.5. I've seen those before, but usually it's little kids bowling. How about a bounce on that 710?
Yeah, it seems like this type of condition, compared to the other national tournament, it seems like this one is definitely more playable. You kind of know what you're getting coming in, and then really just the pair-to-pair is most of the challenge, especially for the higher level players. But I've thought this for years, like in the other national event, the casual bowler that bowls once a week, how much fun is this guy really going to have if he goes out there and just embarrasses himself, and the lane condition's so difficult that he can't hit the pocket. He doesn't have a story to tell his friends when he gets home.
Right.
So hopefully this is a little bit better experience for those people.
I've seen a few people, especially in like the men's and women's handicap divisions, that they still walk out with a little bit of a smile on their face, like they may not have the success they were looking for, but they had a good time while they were doing it.
Sure.
And as you said, you're not sitting there, beating your head against the wall and thinking you have no way of getting in the pocket.
Sure.
So.
And just because the condition's scoreable doesn't mean it's automatic. You still got to get out there and make good shots, and hopefully you wind up with a good cross and make some good shots early and get good reads on the pairs.
And it's the little minute adjustments to get the flat 10 out.
Yep,
and
for
not
sure.
Go for it pin high, or to carry like Lenny apparently
Like
just
what
did there.
Lenny just did.
Yeah, he's shaking his head on the way back. Wasn't too sure on that one.
I can't quite tell what ball that is. It's darker color. Looks like something black, like a dark coat or something like that.
I think it's the X1 from Rotogrip. I saw it come off the rack when he was bowling game 2, and as long as it's the same one, it could still be that X1.
Yeah, some people get freaked out a little bit about they hear like a 42-foot pattern and that kind of thing, and they get freaked out thinking like, okay, I gotta have service on my ball, But in a high friction center like Bolero Wauwatosa here, that's not necessarily the case. It seems to be a lot of people that are scoring pretty well have not necessarily shine on the ball, but definitely they're not hitting 500 grit to it.
Yeah, well, sometimes the shine actually makes it worse. It actually kind of increases the response time, and as much friction as this center has, it can almost make your ball hook a couple times instead of, once in the right spot. So surface is actually okay as long as it's not extremely dull, because then it's just going to burn up, or it's just going to hook too early. But when I practiced earlier, I feel I took advantage of the practice range that we have, and you could bowl for a couple hours, and I found it helpful because there were some balls that I brought that definitely needed a little bit of a scratch as far as a surface adjustment. And, we'll see if it works out, but I think that's a nice difference between this. You can do that the same day. You can bowl by yourself. You don't have to bowl with a full team. You kind of have a little bit more flexibility comparing it to to USBCs, of course. But
right, because they only have like one event that supposedly has the singles and double shot on it or something like that. And you can go practice team somewhere else. That's not
right.
So yeah, this is. I mean, you're literally. You're on the last 6 lanes, and as soon as you get off those 6 lanes, that's all the tournament lanes. So things aren't going to be that different coming off of those pairs where you get to the bowling stadium in Reno. And if you're on the first 12 lanes, it's definitely different from the last 40.
For sure.
No doubt about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Anytime you're in a center of this size that's been around for this long, I mean, there's going to be differences lane to lane, pair to pair. But, yeah, the best bowlers with, the recognition skills, like figuring out what works for them, and, back to what we were talking about with the surfaces, a lot of that has to do with, your physical game, your attributes, how much axis rotation and tilt you have, and how long your flat spot is. Like PJ's flat spot is super long, so he gets his ball through the front of the lane pretty easy. Yep. So he's pretty much always able to use some sort of surface. Lenny, 557 for 2, front 5. He's grinding away.
Yeah.
Oh, flat 10. Oh, is it going to get? No, it doesn't have enough momentum or time.
Black clouded him.
Good job, Dave.
Steve Kenyon's another guy from Florida. Doesn't bowl full-time on the senior tour, but I know he bowls a handful of the stops. Pretty good player. Looks like he has 450-ish the first 2 and pacing 2-teen here.
Piling on a little bit.
Yeah.
So, you guys, when did you guys get in? Last night or earlier today?
So we got in Thursday.
Oh, Thursday. Okay.
And we had a good round of golf Friday.
Define good.
Well, good was we got to hang out, catch up, see each other.
For sure.
The golf ball didn't go where we thought it was going to go.
What course did you get out to play?
We played
What was the name of it?
Brown Deer.
Brown Deer.
Brown Deer.
Yeah, it's a nice course. They used to have the
Beautiful.
Greater Milwaukee Open there back in the day.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah.
Great shape. It was literally the nicest weather I've ever played golf in. It was like 75 the whole day. And from Florida, like I played golf on Monday, and it was 105 when we teed off.
With the heat,
it was a nice change of pace.
You guys have had just some nasty heat this summer down in Florida.
For sure. Yeah, PJ. We got in Thursday. PJ's balls didn't though. PJ had a nice little flight there from St. Louis.
I flew from Sacramento to St. Louis, and then had 3 hours in St. Louis. Landed here right before Dave did. It was like 11 p.m. And balls didn't arrive. Actually, the whole flight. Nobody's bags from the flight from St. Louis to here arrived on Southwest.
Really?
So the whole flight were standing at the baggage service.
Minor details.
Yeah.
We forgot just everyone's bag.
Yeah.
Did they all go on the wrong plane?
No idea. So then we, talked to Southwest the next day, and then they ended up arriving, late that morning. So it worked out okay. But
all right, but still, yikes.
Yeah.
Those are never fun.
Looks like Barney is struggling over there. Spare, strike, open, spare. He's not had a very good run of it the last 2 games.
No, he is not. And that's not those. I hate to say it, but those 4 pair to the right of the walkway.
Yeah, aren't the best ones.
Aren't the best ones. Yeah, let's take a peek in. Let's show everybody here. We'll get that on the main feed. You see.
Yeah, Couch has been
Couch
striking
on
pretty good too. Looks like he's got 480 or 490 the first 2, and got a good game going here.
Yeah, Walter.
They've got a good cross.
Yeah, I mean, here's Jason Cragen walking in the door today thinking, okay, I'm bowling the PBA LBC. Oh, let's just bowl with, 3 Hall of Famers on my pair. That's not going to make you nervous at all.
Yeah, he was telling us he bowled the Peterson this morning. I guess he bowled pretty good. He had like 70 under, but
he
said he felt like he actually had a lot of score out there. I've never bowled it. We're gonna bowl it the first time tomorrow.
Oh, you were in for a treat.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
You were in for such a treat.
Yeah.
I used to take a squad back in the day, and I've been retired for a couple of years now. But Toby Contreras wanted to try talking me out of being retired and bowling a squad last week. I'm like, Toby, I can't bowl. I got the live streams, and Toby put up 1607 with an old. He's got an old AMF something or other from like 1968 or 69 or 70. It's got the orange loop on it for the full roller. It's got the orange stripe for the full roller on it.
Wow.
He was throwing that in like a white dot or something.
That's funny.
It was interesting. Yeah, he had a chance to double in the 10th, and he packed the first one, and the second one he just grabbed it a little up to 310.
Yeah.
But he was 193 clean the last game. He needed 196 to take the lead.
Wow.
So any clean game at the Peterson is amazing.
Oh, this is incredible.
Huge,
I
massive.
bet.
So.
Yeah.
PJ, you bowled it before? Or?
I bowled it one time like 15 years ago. I bowled it with Barnes and Rash and a couple guys, and it was so much fun.
Yeah.
I think this place was. I think it was upstairs, and you could bring 2 balls, and they wrote your lane number with like chalk on your ball, and it went in a shopping cart.
Exactly.
And there's just so many stories, and we've always kind of joked about just making a guys trip of, because when we travel and, we're going to try to play golf or something.
Right.
But man, if we could just bring a 2-ball tote and golf clubs, man, we could knock out the Peterson and some golf. But it's cool that it's in the same facility, so we're going to knock both of them out, which would be fun.
Looks like Barney is bowling the Peterson this game though.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, it's got to be difficult. Coming off 300 the first game, and his ball reaction obviously looked perfect. He was throwing an X2. And now it's just like highlight, highlight, highlight. Getting back to what PJ was saying, that's kind of the purpose of using surface, to try to blend out that over-under, which he seems to have in full force.
But there's a lot of good bowlers on this squad, man. Lenny and Tom Hess and Barney and Pete and
Walter
Ryan Schaefer,
yeah.
Haugen. I mean, there's
PBA 50 event.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. And that's the thing, is that these guys know that seniors don't get a chance to get on TV much, if at all, unless they're bowling a kids tour event and happen to make it, like Parker's done and Norm's done back in the day and everything. They got their chance with this tournament because they're taking the top 2 players out of the senior classic division, and they're going to go to Portland, Maine, and they'll tape it September 21st. They'll air October 1st on FS1, and they'll get their chance to bowl against the other advancers from this LBC National Championships single ball eliminator format. And you could have a PBA 50 player walking out of there with an extra $30,000-$40,000 in their pocket.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And such a cool environment in Portland, Maine. I mean, Charlie Mitchell and those guys, man, at Bayside, they do an awesome job. And it's cool that these guys have a chance to get on there too.
I got to go out there May. Charlie had a tournament, $8,000 on top, the Hungus 8K, and the turnout was great. And it's one of the best views in bowling. And it's still, when you can. People go, well, you can get the same view in Reno. I said, yeah, but I can get it with a $5 beer instead of a $15 beer.
True.
Right.
When you're up on the mezzanine there in Bayside and can just look down over everything, it's a pretty cool view. Hey, there's your shopping cart for tomorrow going
exactly.
by. There must be another squad bowling this afternoon. There was one you mentioned one earlier today.
If anybody at home can imagine a grocery store shopping cart in the middle of a bowling center, this is what they put your bowling balls in before you bowl at Peterson.
Yep.
Pretty cool.
And then wheel them out. And
It's actually a great idea for a bowling bag.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have to worry about carrying all those triple totes.
I've seen guys, I know they can't ship very well because they had 4 bowling balls in it, but it looked like a Pelican case, like the hard-sided cases they ship equipment in.
Oh, yeah.
And they had it for bowling. They had 4 bowling balls and their shoes and everything in it. I'm like, I don't know if I chance my shoes in that shit.
Dude, I just saw one of those last weekend.
Yeah.
That thing was awesome.
I know.
That thing looked like a tank.
Yeah, it's like, if you put it in the back of your car, it's great and stuff like that. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's not going to roll around or slide around or anything, because that's always a problem. Also, you take, you got your bowling balls in the back, and all of a sudden you take a hard right turn and bam.
Yeah.
There goes that.
Slamming off the stuff. So, yeah, Peterson's going to be a blast for you guys tomorrow. So
Nice.
I'm sure they know who's coming in, and
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll treat you with respect.
Yeah, I'm sure.
As in, all the lanes go off at the same time.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
something.
No practice.
Yep.
You don't know what you're bowling on. Yeah, love that.
You can't see below. You can't see. It used to be a big giant wood panel that hung across the lanes. Now they changed it to where it's just like, it's almost like a tarp material, because somebody would have their ball sticking the thumb into it.
Go through it.
It would go through it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now it's like it won't do as much damage anymore. So the arrows are covered. The dots are covered over there. They got them covered on the lanes. So you got nothing to target with. If you use the arrows or dots, you're screwed.
Yeah.
So
Mr. Barnes seems to have figured something out. He put a double up there.
Let's get back to them. Let's watch this Schaefer guy.
Schaefer's getting 9 this game a lot.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad that at the Hall of Fame banquet this year they announced that they're going to do like a new veterans category for players that don't, do the hard cut of, 10 titles and, 2, or 5 and 2 majors and that kind of thing. Where guys like Ryan Schaefer that have had really good, solid careers.
He had an awesome career.
Yeah, great bowler.
Top, 15 all-time in money earners and that kind of thing. Where they'll use guys like the second shot, or Bob Learn, Guppy Troop even.
Yeah.
The eyes he brought to the game even before Kyle started doing that. So.
You know who feel like has had a pretty awesome year? I don't really follow the senior stuff a lot, but man, Troy Lint, didn't he won a big event this year, right? Didn't he win
Senior
something?
US Open.
Yeah. And seems like a super good guy, and happy for him to see him do well.
Yeah,
and then another guy here on the screen, Couch, man. I know he's had a bunch of knee issues, and we actually spoke this morning. He came down while I was practicing, and we caught up for a little bit. But Jay's also, he's just been so good for so long, and it's fun to watch him get going because he gets pretty fired up. And
he can still bowl, man. It's crazy. Like when he's healthy, he really can still strike. Obviously.
Troy Lent, the thing that really, it was a tragic event that got him thinking about going full time on the PBA 50 Tour with the passing of Michael Marcus. And
Yeah, he was a buddy of ours too.
yeah, and then I remember sitting around the bar at South Point on a couple of nights after. They had the West Coast events where they had the team shootout in the U.S. Open in 2016, and then they had the Las Vegas Invite the next year. And there were some good conversations down at that Silverado bar with Marcus, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
And then, speaking of South Point, Troy Lint won the RPI out there this year for the
That's
PBA
right.
50 guys, and that kind of was the kickstart going, hey, I can really do this. I can get out on the 50 Tour full time, and he's fighting a little bit of a knee pain issue right now too as well, but he's a little rest after the seniors U.S. Open's got him going, and now these guys are go. I heard some of these guys aren't getting home till after Labor Day.
Wow.
With all between the national events and then the regional events between the national events on the PBA 50 Tour, some of these guys aren't getting home till after Labor Day.
It's pretty wild to think about. Like, there are a lot of the formats in the senior tour are longer than the national tour. And, like, you got to imagine the aches and pains that these guys are dealing with, bowling as many years as they've bowled. I mean, Walter, specifically, like, literally never misses a tournament. It's crazy. Like, he lives an hour from me. So,
Yeah.
he literally bowls every sweeper, every weekend. It's crazy. He just travels and bowls everything.
126 PBA titles across national and regional levels. And he's got it 26. He got his 100th one in 6 years ago.
Wow.
It's amazing.
It just goes. All the senior stuff he's been doing. It just, it is absolutely
It's
amazing.
a lot of grunting.
Yeah. So Barnesy trying to keep striking here. Oh, how about that? Yeah, you just watch
Trying to bail 2-1.
Look at that high. You don't see that high of a backswing. Too many guys on the 50 Tour.
Yeah. Good for those guys to have all that to bowl, man. That's great.
Yeah. Well, they're keeping you busy. I saw Josh Blanchard a little while ago, and he's keeping you busy out west. Now,
Oh, yeah.
It seems like he's gotten a lot of centers that used to host come back on board. He's gotten quite a few new ones, too.
Yeah, Josh has done a great job. Gary, set him up pretty nicely.
Yeah.
Because of Gary's name and the history that he had on the West region. But, man, Josh took it over and then just made it bigger and better. We're going to centers that we had never really seen, and great proprietors and a ton of tournaments. And so at least out west, there's no excuse to miss anything because there's something to bowl for everyone, no matter where you're at.
How soon till you hit Houston Center? Because that's the only center that probably you hit in a year that has wood lanes yet.
Yeah, Houston's, yeah. Man, that's probably one of the only ones left. But, yeah, what a historic place. I think that regional is normally in the springtime, I think.
Okay.
I had to miss it this year.
Okay.
It's a little bit far for me to drive, and I'm not a big guy to fly to a lot of regionals unless it really makes sense. So, Houston's, man, that's been going on for over 40 years, I think. And what a
amazing looking center.
great
from the
family,
photos I've
good
seen.
spot. Yeah.
Is Corey still bowl?
I think he might only bowl nationals and league, and
He was a cool dude.
Yeah, Corey was funny.
Let's watch Troy. To watch his form and to think that he's 53, and I'm like going to myself, you don't see this kind of form on the PBA 50 Tour. That's kind of Couch-esque. So when
Solid.
Couch was
For sure.
Yeah.
in his 20s
Yeah.
with the high backswing and the open and closed shoulders, and now you look at Couch right now, it's almost there.
Yeah. I talked to Jason today when we were catching up, and he showed me both of his knees, and he's got big scars on him from knee surgeries and stuff. And he says, man, first time in 20 years he doesn't have pain when he's walking. So that's huge, man, for a guy that doesn't have to worry about that can just bowl, and that's great.
Oh, absolutely. Because that's your base. If you have no base in bowling, you're not going to score.
There's nothing worse than bowling hurt. Your body just, executes differently just to prevent pain. And he's been bowling through that for so many years. I'm glad to hear that he's out of pain. It's good for him. So Troy Lint's got 260 on the outs here. Couch is 701 for his first three, 214. Barney can throw the last six here to bail out 213, which will put him at 17?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 100. So 100 over still.
Barnes
Yeah.
had some trouble on this lane. He split he struck in the eighth, but he split in the sixth and split in the fourth and spared in the second. So hopefully he got this lane figured out. He's taking a rack here to hopefully get everything dialed in and See what he does.
Yeah, it looks like he got steeper in the front. Just looks like he got throwing it right quicker, earlier distance-wise on the lane. Hard to tell what ball it is. I don't know if he's still in the X2 or if he tried something else. I would imagine it's something else. Schaefer's struggling.
Dave, this is why we can't watch Walter and go, man, what is he doing? The first game, he looked like he didn't know what he was doing. And granted, I mean, for folks at home, we only get 5 minutes of practice. So, you know, I'm assuming it takes these guys a little bit longer to get loose. But, gosh, Walter looked like he bowled a terrible game when he bowled 190.
Yeah.
And then he bowled 250.
Yeah.
And now he can bowl 250 here. And, you know,
be 100 over.
That's why he's the GOAT. You know, I mean,
It's crazy how much you have to get done in 5 minutes. If you ever, you got to get your body loose, right part of the lane, right ball, right speed, rotation, tilt, everything. It's crazy how just trained we are to do this kind of thing, but like a lot of stuff has to happen in that very short period of time.
Yeah. And then to get out there and make sure you throw, I mean, as soon as the lights are on, that you're executing, because all of a sudden, like, okay, did I see something wrong in practice, or is it me?
Because all of a sudden it's a sprint. You got 6 games to.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, one of the most impressive things I've seen out of Walter in his bowling career was back in 2019 in Minnesota, where he switched to two-handed for a game and shot 300. It was just, you just go, how? Wow. So
pretty crazy.
Just got an update. Lenny Borsch sitting at 225 over after his first 3.
That'll do.
825.
What pair was he on there, Mr. Hirsch, the last game? What good of a correspondent are you unless you give me the pair he's on? Come on, man.
It's almost like I wish we had
Brian, to let
cameras
me
to
know.
find out where
Well,
he was
we
bowling.
do, but I can only look at a couple of them at a time, unfortunately. So, I mean, I can take a peek here. But obviously he's done with his 3rd game if that's the case. So, and we're almost over our 3rd game. So let's take a little audio intermission. We'll let the fans refresh the beverages at the break. We're halfway through. We'll bring David and PJ back for another game. If you guys have questions, throw it in the YouTube chat or throw it in the Facebook chat, and we'll ask them next game. Game 4 coming up next. All right, back game 4 underway. Disregard your current game graphic. That'll be changed momentarily. Graphics department working as hard as they can today. You know, these pairs moving at the same time. You got 11 different feeds going out to you, so sometimes it takes a second or two to get them done. And for those of you watching on YouTube, and even the people in the chat can give a little shout out here to Allison Walker and Zach Bear. They started on 31 and 32. I don't know where they're at currently. But they just got engaged. She's watching back home from Georgia. So, Allison, congratulations.
Yeah, that's awesome. Congratulations.
If you want to leave your wedding registry in the chat, I'm sure we can get Josh Blanchard to chip in a gift or something.
There you go. Yeah.
Start a GoFundMe for him.
Yeah.
Peak Performance Pro Shop. 3 Florida locations.
Oh, man. David O'Sullivan, PJ Haggerty in the booth with me. We're into game 4. How about that? We just got the notice at the end of game 3. Lenny Boris Jr., 8 1/4 for his first 3 crossing pair.
Yeah, but the poor guy missed in the first frame. I feel bad for him. Transition must be getting him. Starting this game slow with a 9 spare.
It's funny. And you may unfortunately find this out the hard way later on, but sometimes he left a blower 7 there.
Yeah.
I bowled league in this house for 20 whatever years. I bowled tournaments in this house. I bowled anything from house china to flat shots. Being a left-handed, I left more 10s in this place than I did 7s.
Wow.
I don't know why. I don't know how, but I'm talking to some of the players this last time around. You hear the Rays going, God, I'm leaving more 7s than 10s. Why does that happen for some players? As Lenny goes wide that time. And
wow.
2, 4, 10.
See, that right there, guys, for the people at home, Lenny just bowled 8 1/4. He hasn't missed in over an hour. I mean, he's consistently hitting his target. He's got the right ball in his hand. And now you come to a pair where that right lane is,
significantly tighter.
Something's different, yeah. And those are some of the challenges that you can run in. Even with a high scoring pace, you can run into some of that stuff. So part of it, I think, is kind of luck. You hit the right pairs at the right time, and you take advantage of it, or sometimes you don't.
Yeah, I mean, even if you probably had somebody watching for, like the guys on tour have ball reps and that type of thing.
Yep.
But even somebody who's watching for it,
look at that.
Many spares it.
Yeah, that's what Hall of Famers do, man.
That's right. But if you had somebody watching it, it might still have fooled that person that was watching, and all of a sudden you get somebody up in front of you, and you look at their reactions, going, okay, I need to do this then, and it doesn't happen.
Yep.
That's why it's so important to be physically, solid, because now he's got to decide: was that me? Was that the lane? Was it the ball? And he's got to make a decision of how to, give the lane what it's asking for. So, I mean, in this situation, I'm trying to pay attention to what the other guys are doing to, process of elimination. Did my ball burn up? Did it not hook? Am I too far right? Am I too far left? That's the kind of stuff that goes through my mind, but I guess that's why I'm not in the Hall of Fame. Yep, Gary's ball just went light too.
Yeah.
He's 2-pinned as well.
So could it be topography? Could it just be somebody played them a little different before them? That's the question now they have to answer next time they step up.
You could be following urethane. It could be topography. It could be, guys didn't use much surface in practice. I mean, it could be a variety of things.
But at the same time, with the scoring pace as it is, and as good as Lenny's feeling, I mean, gosh, do you move right? Sometimes moving right can be, completely detrimental, because then you could see some friction and then kind of double whammy yourself. I guess if it's me, I'm probably moving left and getting away from that cliff a little bit.
Yeah, anything to not move right.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse as a right-handed bowler.
Moving right's the worst.
It's terrible, yeah.
And I've seen some people that have said earlier on in this tournament, you talk to them after they're done when they have a little rough stuff, they go, yeah, and then I moved back right, and all of a sudden, there it was again.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting because they're using ice conditioner from Kegel, so that has a lot less friction than, let's say, Curve or some of the other ones that they have. But they have to do that here because, as we mentioned earlier, this lane surface is 22 years old now.
Yeah.
They put it in right before the WIBC Championships in 2001. And some of these pairs, you swear it's Velcro as soon as it hits the lane.
It's crazy. I mean, not for nothing. We're just getting into it. It's 2023. Synthetic lane beds have been around since the late 80s, early 90s. I mean, and they take a beating. And it's just, there's just so much surface friction, especially, I mean, down in my neck of the woods. I mean, just everywhere we go. the lanes hook so much and so early, and you have to use more oil to kind of combat that and to protect whatever's left of the lane surface. That guy seems to have it figured out on that lane.
Jeff Johnson just turned around and looked and goes, I guess that was right.
Yeah.
So he's one of the guys that runs the center. He's got Freeport, Illinois with Jumpin' Joe's and
Jeff's good bowler.
Center. Yeah. And Jeff runs a lot of events out of his center as well. For years, he hosted the big Tier 1 collegiate event before it moved to Stardust because it got too big. I mean, that's the thing with college bowling nowadays. I mean, to run at Tier 1, you got to have like 100 lane beds nowadays.
You need Woodland Bowl.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, Woodland, Boardwalk,
South Point.
Stadium. Yeah, I mean, there's very, very few venues that can accommodate that many people.
Yeah, I mean, even here now in with the Midwest Collegiate, which is the big Tier 1 to kick the season off, now it's the men are here at Bolero and the women are at another bowling center that has 48 lanes at AMF West. So, so because it's just gotten so huge with college bowling, it's amazing.
Great problem to have.
So, yeah. Are you noticing that in your areas too, that all of a sudden, like, the number of entries from kids, I say kids even though they might be 23, 24, 25, has like doubled and tripled over the last couple of years? Like the kids are staying in the sport longer than they used to? Because for a few years there, it seemed like they got done with college and 90% of the kids stopped bowling. And now it seems like they're done with college and like 30% of the kids have stopped bowling. And there's still a lot of kids bowling, either high-level scratch tournaments or PBA regional events.
Yeah, I just bowled a regional 2 weeks ago in Utah, and I was telling, Josh wasn't there. His wife Amy worked the regional because Josh was doing the tour finals in Seattle. But I told Amy, like, who are these kids? Like, where do they come from? And not only are their rev rates super high, they're two-handed, they throw it really, really good. But like, gosh, it was just like this influx of 20 to 25-year-olds, and it was great to see because, at least out west, we're usually seeing the same guys, and we know who each other are. But man, we saw a bunch of guys that were new faces and could bowl, and I think it's a good sign.
It's a really good sign for our sport and the future. High school bowling and college bowling, I mean, at least from my perspective, seems to be doing fantastic. There's new programs popping up everywhere. It really is a fantastic product, and it's like everybody is grateful to be there, and nobody's complaining about lane conditions yet or bowling balls, and it's everything that's right with bowling.
It's fun to watch the PBA junior events, and the PBA junior with they got the regionals coming up to try to qualify for the national finals on TV next year.
Yep.
That's coming up August 12th and 13th, and there's so many kids.
Yeah,
they're just getting so pumped for that. The time frame's a little shorter. It used to be kids had 6-7 weeks after junior gold, and now the last couple of years it's been middle of August to go. So they have like less than a month to get ready. So you got to iron out the bugs after junior gold.
By the way, we just saw Lenny strike on the right lane after that move. Dave, I don't know about you, man. I look at that as that's a pretty big momentum strike right there because he just bowled 8 1/4. He knows they're only taking 2 spots out of the senior field, plus other seniors that pop in, right, Phil, as well?
Right.
So, for him to bowl a huge first 3 and then kind of get to a lane that's a little funky, not only make the split, but then come back and make a move and strike, man, I look at that as those are the types of things you need to go right when you're going to make a show or lead a squad.
That's a huge shot right there for sure.
Yeah.
And it definitely looked like he shut down his angles a little bit more. It looked like he was starting to open up the front part of the lane more like he is on that lane, playing a little more left to right. And, it looked like he just kind of shut his angles down and kept it more in front of him on that right lane.
Maybe he lined up off of Jeff here because, Jeff has struck both times on the right lane, and I think Jeff's probably a little straighter overall through the front part of the lane compared to Lenny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't have the voodoo roll that Lenny can throw on it sometimes.
That doesn't look like it's going to hook.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just looks like there's definitely an out of bounds there on that right lane.
What lane was that guy? Is that 64?
That is 54.
54.
So, it's the first time we looked at 53 and 54 today. First time we've gotten on this far.
Yeah, so a little more insight for you guys watching at home. This is pretty cool. So PJ and I are getting ready to bowl at 7 p.m., and PJ's literally taking notes of the fact that lane 54 has that hang spot to the right. So any of you that are going to bowl this tournament, whether it's this year or next year, you're thinking about it, and you take notice of something like that, put a little note in your phone. I'm sure folks have heard about Chris Barnes with his I mean, every lane he's bowled on his whole career, he seems to have, this. I don't even want to know how long that note is in his phone because I've seen him writing it.
I know how he has a phone that can hold like
that much data,
10 terabytes of data. Yeah,
literally. JJ is still pretty old school. I know he was just in the booth a while back. He still does a lot of writing, like physically writing down on a little cheat sheet of paper, stuff like that, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of the women that still do the
Oh, yeah.
mainly because sometimes on tour they don't have the opportunity to use
Their phones.
A phone. So
Yeah.
So Verity Crowley took full advantage of being able to use her phone today. She was doing social media while she was bowling. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, she's really good at it. She's really, really good at it. She's got a really awesome following, and she's bringing eyes to our sport, which is always a good thing.
Yeah, there's another one that's great on social media with Daria Payek. I think she's
sure.
on the 7 o'clock squad tonight too. As
Yeah,
well.
her and Giorgio.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
And
is Giorgio still a PBA member?
I believe so.
think
Yeah.
he is.
So,
yeah. So I know he had a nice run with some regionals for a while. It's just kind of like you didn't hear about him. Like, is he not a member anymore, or he's just?
He's
not
also doing a lot of work at Storm with
Yeah.
Alex Hoskins. They're
Okay.
they're in the plant. They're doing their thing, and making those products.
So we can strike.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
I'll tell you what, that's a guy that I suspect will bowl pretty well tonight. Giorgio can definitely play, and looking like there's a fairly decent amount of volume on the lane, and he likes to slow hook it. I could definitely see him putting up a good score.
Okay. Yeah, it was interesting last week because we had a couple different styles getting the top 3 in the Open Classic, and one of them was a gentleman out of Indiana who was basically, I mean, I don't want to say house bowler or something like that. I mean, he threw it well, but a little higher than average rev rate, but definitely played it very direct, right of where Lenny's playing now.
Yeah.
And then we had Carlton Chambers.
Yeah.
Great regional player out of the Central region.
Sebo?
And Sebo by game 5 was in front of the ball return on the right
Sure.
lane. But he was slow wheeling it on top of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was just neat. It's neat to see how many different styles have been able to score on this pattern as Lenny stares that one down and gets the 10 to go.
Yeah,
Great
when
shot.
you compare that to Jeff's washout there.
Yeah.
I mean, Jeff's washout probably got 2 or 3 right of that down lane. Lenny was much more in front of him, and that's why it hit the pocket. So that tells me there could be some hang on that right lane.
It's also so fun, like when you're sitting at home watching, and especially when you see phone numbers like these, like the guy's obviously averaging 270. Oh, the lanes must be super easy, and literally 2 right of that misses the headpin. So
Right.
that specific lane right there is not super easy.
Yeah. Oh, my. The old
And then you deal
blower
with stuff like that.
It's Stort stuff. It's no.
Yeah.
I gotta give Jimmy a hard time. This is the first time I've seen a lot of these guys this season. So yeah, the ribbing's been going on a little bit.
Nice.
I've been taking a couple of shots they took a couple of shots at me about Bowl TV, and I'm like, I didn't want to tell Tom Hesse's the reason why I watch it with the sound off, but
Yeah.
Tom tried giving me some grief yesterday on
Nice.
social, so I'll just give it right back.
There you go.
Yeah, you gotta like Tom though. I mean, it's one guy. He's a fiery competitor on the lanes. You get off the lanes, he'll help anybody out with anything. So,
Yeah.
He's a nice guy.
Good dude for sure.
how about a bounce?
Get out of there.
We've had a ton of 300s this event so far. It was probably 8 or 9 of them at this point.
Yeah,
Still
Kevin
have a
Anderson,
7-10.
front 6 here on the
Yeah.
right lane. Front 7, there you
There
go.
we go. We'll stay here. Why go anywhere else?
For all those fans at home, let's not forget who bowled the first ever LBC 300 game. Is our
yeah.
boy Matt Gasson.
That's right.
How that guy was just done by you in Florida. He came back with 0 sun. How the hell did he pull that off?
Yeah, he's my 2 closest friends are both see-through. They're both similar skin complexion to bowling pins.
Yeah. Love the shade.
Yeah,
I haven't seen Matt since that day, but it has to be pretty cool to have Norm Duke call the 10th frame on your 300. Like
Yeah,
it was
that's
pretty
for
cool
him,
for sure.
so.
Yeah,
Did you guys rub the Norm, by the way, for good luck?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
not yet.
Okay,
not
you
yet.
have
I haven't even seen it.
Yeah, it's in the tournament office. Norm says you have. I know the clip's out there
Uh-oh.
somewhere.
All right, out of trouble. Yeah, I actually got to rub on Norm last week though, because
well,
I saw him down at
better.
Bowl Expo, so maybe that counts.
Yeah, just rub him on the head. You said
Yeah.
you got to rub him on the head. So
I'll tell you what, retirement agrees with that guy. I have never seen him smile that much. He was just like, I'm sure just like good to see everybody. He's off the road. It's not
Yeah.
grinding anymore, away from his family. So
it's going to be.
kudos to him.
I told him, I said, it's going to be weird in Portland this year to see you on the lanes, but not on the lanes with managing the Dallas Strikers. So
I have to imagine everybody at home. That's a I was super sad when he retired. I could watch him bowl all day. I mean, just
Norm is great for TV.
literally, not only great for TV, but he's, I mean, in my mind, definitely, arguably one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
You know, he's my GOAT, or at least right now.
Right. I mean, as soon as I saw the T-shirts that are out on the lobby here from H5G, the 40 years, 40 titles, I bought one of those and took it home right away. I'm not even going to wear it. I'm just going to, I'll frame it eventually or something, get Norm to sign it.
Pretty incredible.
So, yeah, they're pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, you get in this job, I get lucky enough with the PBA sometimes, and they bring me in to get moments. And when Norm and I were in Portland last year, and Norm just goes, "Hey Phil, sit down here for a second." He just started talking to me, and he just went for 30 minutes, and he goes, "I'm done." And I just looked at him, and I saw when he said, "I'm done." I go, "I absolutely believe you," because you could just tell he was just done. Yeah. I love the sport, but I don't want to throw another ball again in my life. And I don't know how Tom Clark got him to throw the opening ball out here a couple of weeks ago, because I thought.
Front eight.
I thought that was going to be a no-go, but that was probably the most nervous I've seen Norm ever.
Yeah.
Because he did have bowling shoes.
Yeah.
He's grabbing. I don't know where. I'm assuming Tom Clark brought one of Norm's bowling balls in that Tom had in his memorabilia collection or something. But yeah, Norm goes up. He hollered to the crowd. He goes, "Over under 7.5."
Yeah.
And then he goes, "I'll take the under," and he got 8. So
I can't even imagine. It's wild to think about. Like, this man literally has been, I mean, eat, sleep, drink, bowling, like his whole life. Yeah. And now, like, not even putting your hand in a ball. Like, I'm the psychopath that, like, is away from work for a week, and I, like, miss the pro shop. Like, I miss going to work. I miss customers. Right. I miss drilling bowling. Like, I just couldn't even imagine, like, literally never throwing a ball again. It's wild.
Yeah.
That's in a little bit.
And you
Flat
see what
10.
happens. Yeah, it gets it because of a little heavier concentration in the middle of the pattern.
Yeah, I mean, not for nothing, for his transition game to still have 240 on the outs is okay.
Yeah.
And Kevin here on what is that, 55 and 6 with the front 8, starting with 620. Looking to turn his block around here. Do we have a camera on Barnes' pair? Barnes and Walter and them?
I can find one.
Curious how those guys are bowling. Couch was bowling pretty good. Walter turned it on a little bit, and
they're on 61 through 64. So I'm gonna have to. We'll wait till.
Yeah, sure.
Kevin throws here because I got to make a little.
I have a feeling Kevin's gonna keep striking. I don't know Kevin, but I got a good feeling about it. Yeah. I think he's gonna throw some strikes. Good spare there by Lenny.
All right. While I make the transition, I'm gonna give a little shout out here. You're going to see a young man coming up on lane 33. I mentioned it earlier about the future of the sport.
Phil,
Braden Malish.
I was just going to mention that kid. I saw him bowl from the side, and he's got this kind of black and white outfit going with his left leg has got black on it. His right leg's got white, so it kind of reminds me of a troop outfit, something Kyle might wear, but, man, he throws it good.
Yes, he does.
That kid does throw good. You know what's crazy? It's just it's almost like every kid is throwing it good today. Like there's just so many more two-handers, and the learning curve is just getting quicker and quicker, and there's just so much information and good coaching out there.
Yeah, so he's got a chance to get to 920 after.
Oh, there we go.
There's Barnes. Wow.
Oh, that didn't look good.
Scenic route.
He didn't make that spare, right?
No, he did not.
That was a real scenic route at that.
So he hooked at the bucket.
Yeah, that's not. Well, on a lane condition like this, I understand. You're just trying to increase margin for error, but that is surprising if someone of his caliber.
For topography, as goofy as this place can be, and you're trying to cover a bunch of the lane to shoot the bucket, I bet he wishes he had that one back.
Yeah, for sure. Walter Ray making the 1-2-4-8 there. That was an Adventures in Spare Shooting frame.
After Walter split in the second, and then got 4 in the third. Is that a
split in the second, split in the third, double, spare, yeah. 4 through the middle. Look at Walter curving it.
Meanwhile, Couch continuing to bowl really well. He had 750 or 740 the first 3, right? Or
yep, now he's pacing 250 here, 230.
That's the second time I've seen that kind of hit here this week. See, you look at Robert Lawrence coming back.
Is that where the 6-pin goes in front of the 10?
In front of the 10. That's
Phil,
the second time I've seen that.
That happened a lot at the World Series.
Yeah. It's the second time I've seen it this week.
Yeah, there's got to be something on the sidewall that's making that
No,
happen.
I don't think so. To be honest with you, I think Robert Lawrence is just a little too end over end with his ball roll. I think that's his issue. Robert's a great guy.
Tell that to Scott Devers.
Yeah, exactly.
Chris Keene, 279 there. Nice
Chris
game.
Keen's a wonderful guy. He's a full-time senior tour player. He owns a
Prior
bowling
by you,
center.
yeah.
He's a great guy. They do a really good job down there.
And Walter A. Nice to see Walter A. styling the new jerseys. I mean, it was always the horseshoes and the pins and that kind of, but he's got a little different look to him now with the New Jersey company him and his wife are running. So
Yeah, zero chance he's designing those. It's definitely Fancy. 100% Fancy's designing those.
Hopefully Fancy's making some for when he practices horseshoes, too, because he wears the same shirts when he's practicing horseshoes. Come on, Fancy, if you're out there.
I wonder if Walter A.'s streaming right now.
I don't
On
think
his
so.
own phone. No, okay.
I don't think
he
so.
was streaming. He was streaming from the regional yesterday
Yeah.
in Chicago, so it was pretty neat to see that. Yeah, usually if I'm here, he usually asks. He goes, "Can I stream?" I'm like, "I don't care," but save the bandwidth. Just tell everybody to go to YouTube for this bad boy.
Sure.
That's one thing that's been nice about this event because I've heard people have gone and watched on YouTube before they come here because if they're bowling a 9 o'clock Saturday morning squad, they don't get to come in and watch the squads before them to see how they're playing and stuff like that. So they'll watch the YouTube feeds.
Yeah.
Sure.
From the week before, and then they get a little idea about what they can do and what they're looking for. So
I think it's
pretty
awesome.
cool that
I think
way.
it's awesome that we're live streaming every pair. You know, folks at home can watch and feel like they're a part of the event. You know, they announce the pattern, they show it. You can watch bowling. I think this is just all around win-win for everybody in the sport. I really do.
Yeah.
Barnes
Too bad-
back on track
Too
there.
bad you guys didn't know that Lenny was going to be so hot coming out of the gates. You guys could have been doubles partners with him.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to have to switch around here for a second to pull
Sure.
this up. So we'll wait for Couch to go, and then we'll see how Lenny's finishing up.
Still throwing that purple hammer. Bombing him. It's good to see him bowling good. I always root for Jay.
One of the years back in the Extra Frame days, we were covering Teen Masters down at Sawgrass.
Yep.
And it was pretty cool to have Jason come down that week because at the time Ebonite was a big sponsor of
Sure.
Teen Masters, and sit in the booth and just pick his brain, man. It was so much fun to do.
Yeah, he's fun to talk to. He's great personality, really good sense of humor, and obviously a wealth of knowledge,
And he'll bust your chops every time he sees you.
which is the best part.
Yeah. Looks good.
Come on,
Pretty
Skin.
good shot there.
It's one thing I
Trying to
always
save 230 here.
I'm a homer in the booth, so if people don't like it, too bad. Turn the sound off. Wisconsin guy, I'm cheering. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well,
It's also hard not to like Lenny.
Yeah.
Right.
He's just a
easy to root for Borscht, man.
yeah, really nice man.
Good guy.
Except I can sit next to him playing video poker. I never hit the royal. It's always him.
Oh, really?
Oh God, it's fun sitting next to Lenny just while he's playing video poker and just watch him work. And just,
Well, I've heard
hey,
I've heard
how about
money
this?
goes to money. I've heard that a few times.
Yeah. So, Lenny, how do I play this hand? Because sometimes you get dealt,
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, you get dealt 3 face cards of different suits, and which 2 should I hold? Make sure you hold that ace. So it's not too often you put the 1 up on the end of your score with 231, but Lenny can do it here.
Good shot.
That's I think he'd be very happy with this. Look at
Oh.
Dave Taylor making the 4-7-10. There's some strikes being thrown on that pair.
coming
279,
out of back.
260, 240, and
All right.
yeah, Lenny bailing out 231.
Just hope you get 55 and 56 to start tonight. No.
Yeah.
So he's 256 over going into game 4. That'll be okay.
Yeah. He's only got to
No,
get
going into game 5, right?
going to game 5.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
256 after game 4. After
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
So if he throws a couple more 230s, he's past Verdi's score today.
Yeah.
So. But you got to stay in the division you entered in, as much as that $25,000 on top is going to look painful to Verdi or Lenny possibly in this case.
Yeah. 10:56. That is an above-average start for sure.
That's a good league night for 4. And
Seriously.
Lenny's crossing pairs, balling, following different guys,
Yep.
and just averaged 260 and change, 264 or so for the 4. I mean, that's
Is that Don Hogue? I think on this. I'm not sure if it's Hogue on this pair or not. Nice. Has the pro shop at AMF Riviera Lanes. I think. Let me double check if that's him.
Looks like he's paced. He's got 279 on the outs. That's Don Hogue. Yep.
Yeah. one of the once again, a nice guy can get overused way too often. But I mean, with the times we were there were after the Tournament of Champions came back to Riviera, and we were doing the live streaming.
Yeah.
And just whatever we needed, Don would make sure we had. So it was always really cool of him to.
It's crazy how
to do
small of
that
a
for
world
us.
the bowling world. Like it really is. It's like everybody just knows everybody. There's somebody's a proprietor or knows them, and it's just so cool to see everybody.
Hey, Phil, maybe jump over to 33 and 4. We can see this kid, the kid you were talking about. It might be on his fill ball now.
Yeah, there he goes. I got to ask him, did he buy the pants that way? Or
and
did
he bowled a big one.
Yeah.
It's like 260, 69
So, yeah, 9. He'll get to 100 and a quarter over.
for him.
So, I know he's still a high school player. I'm sure he's not going adult before junior gold. So he's only able to partake in the singles portion of this event. But that's another great part about events like this is that the singles portion open to youth players. Come on in, bowl. Yeah, you can't do brackets, but you get the experience under tournament conditions like this.
Sure.
And where else can you go? And he's going to have stories to tell today. I bowled in the same tournament Walter Ray Williams did and Jason Couch did.
Yeah.
And
Just
PJ
rubbing elbow-
Haggerty did. And Daniel
Yeah.
Sullivan did.
And it's a good warm-up for him for junior gold. I
Right.
don't think the patterns will probably play like this, but
No.
for him to cross a center and, at least get some more games under his belt before, a big youth national event like that, that's good for him.
So, and
I'm going to assume the pace of play might be a little different in this tournament versus junior gold.
Yeah.
11 on a pair. The last time I was at junior gold coaching, there was a center that had 11 on a pair.
Yeah, that's brutal.
I'd walk. I don't want to say I'd walk, but it's not fun to bowl.
Man, it's your turn every 14 minutes.
Yeah.
And you get the 4-hour 4-game block.
Yeah.
Not
We're
good.
going to bowl 6 in like 2.5.
Yeah.
Seriously.
So it looks like we got everybody moving at the same time. So let's take a little audio intermission again. You guys want to sit in for one more before I drag Blanchard in here?
Yeah, let's
Your
do
call.
it.
Sure.
All right.
If you want us, yeah.
Yeah, let's take a little intermission here. We'll be back with PJ, David, and myself shortly. Hey, when you find a good horse, you ride it for a while. So let's do that right here. We're going to get Lenny Borsch back on our pair momentarily here. Let's bring him on. Ta-da!
I got to tell you, it's fun to watch someone like him bowl really, really well. He doesn't have the highest rev rate. He doesn't throw it 100 miles an hour. Just has a lot of touch and repeats well.
Yeah, I got to see if I can find a picture of Lenny with hair. Hold on.
Ooh. Wow.
It might be black and white, though.
Serious. I was just going to say that. No, he had some hair in some of those team challenge shows.
Oh, that's true.
Jeff Johnson, 133 over after 4.
That feels like a good score. And then you look at Lenny's, and he's 250 over.
Yeah. Right. I've just heard of so many guys for 6 bowling, 150 over. It's just so easy to do. It's hard to put 6 big games together, especially when you're crossing a building like this one that has so many, funky lanes and a panel here, and pin carry seems interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we'll wait till after Lenny throws here, because, it's got to be one of the coolest moments in his bowling career as he strikes. To have the commissioner of the PBA, Tom Clark, show up at your Friday morning league. This is the one league session Lenny bowls every week at Castle Lanes, where he has his pro shop, and he gets introduced by everybody. And then we were down there. We swerved Lenny. We told him that, we're going to come down and talk about the LBC National Championships that are coming up at Milwaukee and everything like that. And he's just sitting there waiting. And you tell where he's kind of getting the clue of what might be going on, and all of a sudden,
wow,
when it hits him, and it's just like,
I haven't seen this video. This is awesome.
So it's still on the PBA YouTube channel, but he's starting to get misted up a little bit. You're like, can this actually be happening? Yeah. Is this actually happening? And then Tom says, you're now inducted in the PBA Hall of Fame, and it's just bam.
Wow.
And just watch the emotions wash over the guy, and he came out and he's bowled with these guys for 40 years in this league. Lenny's one of the younger guys in that league, to be honest.
Nice.
So, and it was just really cool. He gets a handshake from Tom, and
that's really cool.
It's to be able to do that as the commissioner. Tom's lucky enough that he lived close enough to pull that off. But it's cool for these players to get in person. I got to see Wes Malott get it in person in 2021 when Tom was able to tell him in person that, hey, you've been unanimously elected into the PBA Hall of Fame. So it's pretty cool to have that happen. Then we started talking about, at one of the events I was streaming on my own, a PBA Midwest event, Southwest Region has their own Southwest Region Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I think that's the only one. I don't
agree.
know any others that have that. I'm like, so
I didn't even know it was a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, and I'm like thinking to myself, who would be in the Hall of Fames in all these other regions, kind of thing. And we start talking about guys in the Midwest. It would be like Lenny Borsch and Dave Traber and Dale Traber and Pete. And, the number of guys. There's so many.
Who?
Jeff Rickles. Yeah. Jeff Rickles and all these guys, and just the amazing amount of talent they've had over the years. In the Midwest, and same thing in every region, where the guys that have just won a lot of regional titles that may not have been the guys that went out on tour and had the full-time gig on tour. It'd be kind of cool to see them get recognized a little bit more. So we're going to try to figure out where the heck to put the Midwest PBA Regional Hall of Fame, and then we'll petition Tom Clark if we can do it.
Yeah, there you go. That'd be cool.
I think we think we tried to say Castle Lanes, but they haven't hosted enough PBA events. Not your fault, Lenny.
Yep. Keep grinding, Lenny.
Fell.
Tell you what, we've all had those blocks. It's been a minute for me, but it just seems like every trip 4 happens when things are going the way they're going for him right now.
Yeah. So what's the game plan? It's nice. You get your 6 games done tonight. You get a little rest. Come back tomorrow for the Pete.
Yeah.
What time is your squad at tomorrow? Bright and early?
8:30 a.m., yeah.
Bright and early. So you guys going to make it a Holler House tonight then?
Ooh. We talked about going over there because Dave hasn't seen it. I've been there once.
Oh, you got to go, Dave.
Yeah, maybe we'll go grab a brewski.
We could. I'm also very interested in this football cornhole bowling
Oh yeah,
situation.
that's not that far away here either. That's actually on the other side of the bridge here, across the freeway with foot bowling.
Yeah.
Yes, at first and bowl.
To be honest, I think Holler House might be a better option, just specifically because there's already enough games that I can beat PJ at. I don't want to find another one.
Wow.
I need him to get some sleep tonight so that he's ready to go for the Pete in the morning. So yeah, we could do Holler House. Too.
Yeah, okay.
Tell Kathy and Tommy you get there. Tell them $2 Phil sent you, and I
Will do.
guarantee you that they'll give you the good Polish blackberry brandy. They're not giving you that run of the mill stuff.
Nice.
All right, $2 Phil.
Yeah,
That's the code word.
Oh yeah, Kathy and Tom and I we go back a bit. So they used to open. I used to bowl a sport condition league on Monday nights at another center in town here, and Holler House is usually closed on Monday. But for one Monday a year, they would open up for us, and we would have our league sweeper in the basement at Holler House.
No way.
3 games of Baker. Yeah, 3 games of Baker doubles.
Well, that's cool.
At Holler House. So one of my career highlights is striking out in the 10th frame at Holler House.
Wow.
So on the old bug sprayer shot.
Wow.
That's what I forgot. I forgot to ask JJ that when he was here. If he's ever oiled with a bug sprayer.
He has.
He has. Okay.
He has.
Okay. Because it's just funny watching him take the bug sprayer out and hose it and then mop it once with the whole lane mop and then the 10-to-10 mop.
Yeah.
Seriously.
So 30 feet gutter to gutter, and then the last 10 feet's just the tongue.
Some Lenny Nicholson stories there, too.
Can you imagine, being able to repeat that lane to lane?
No.
It's just wild. Lenny coming in the light there for a 2.48. Didn't look like his best shot. Lucky to get the 10 out, so he leaves something makeable. I assume he has 40 clean at this point?
He does. He did not open. He never split in game 4.
He had the he had the 2-4-10 and he picked it up.
He is currently 42 clean.
Not too far from the booth, we can see Pete. He's on 33 and 4, and he struck in the 4th frame, and then looks like he's hurt.
He was
grabbing
limping
his
around.
back and
Take a peek next time he steps up. Yeah, there he's coming off the approach. Not happy with the week 10, but I'll take a look at Pete when he gets back up on the other lane.
Brad Snell. There's a blast from the past. That guy's been a good bowler for a long time.
He's like 97, isn't he now?
Dude, I'll tell you what, but he looks like he's in the shape of a 21-year-old, man.
Yeah. He's still drilling. New Approach Pro Shop, if I remember correctly. He used to be where the Peterson moved to in Hoffman Estates. I remember he was there for quite a few years. And then I'm not sure. Yeah, Pete's not happy.
Pete
right
is
now.
hurting.
yeah.
What's the name of the jean company he's with now?
Muggsy.
He's got a pair of
Muggsy.
Muggsy's on right now. That was such an awesome commercial.
Yeah, that
That
was a
was
great
cool.
commercial.
It really
for
was.
Sure.
His wife Renee was talking to me a little bit about earlier about how the kid didn't know, the little kid who Pete takes the nachos from.
Yeah.
Didn't know who Pete was, and he goes, the kid just wouldn't get scared enough of Pete till Pete finally kind of goes, here's how I'm going to look at you, and the kid finally got scared.
Wow.
Over to Lenny. Whoa, hey, that was some interesting carry. Sometimes we get a little quick change like that.
Trip another 4. Clean living. Dan Knowlton over here on the left lane with the front 5 now. He's been bowling pretty good out there in the senior tour.
I'm waiting for the seniors to petition to bowl in shorts, which really should be the last thing that happen because who wants to see 50-year-old guy legs?
It's funny you should mention that. I was just talking to PJ about that yesterday. So in the West, Josh lets the guys wear shorts in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And then at that regional JJ one yesterday, there were guys wearing shorts.
I think that center doesn't have or has some issue with air conditioning or something. I'm not sure.
It's funny you should mention that too, because actually we have a southeast of the United States air conditioning problem. It seems like every bowling center in the southeast.
I've heard that.
It's 110 degrees. It's interesting, but yeah, I heard that in the Midwest over the summer, guys are allowed to wear shorts.
Okay.
And I saw Zach Wilkins was bowling a regional somewhere, and he was wearing shorts during the practice session.
Yeah.
So, man, that would be awesome.
I mean, for as athletic as you have to be nowadays to bowl this game.
For sure.
And I'm kind of a purist at heart. I think I think dress shorts would be perfectly fine.
I totally do too.
And
Yeah.
especially during the summer months. I mean, because then you're transitioning from outside to inside, and then you get back outside again. You're wearing pants, and it's like 90 degrees.
For
and
sure.
As long as the shorts look good.
Right.
Well, yeah, they got to be.
I mean,
yeah,
golf
those-
shorts.
Yeah,
Right.
those cargo shorts at 17 pocket kind of thing.
Right.
But I mean, it really could just be the same rule as what they employ for pants. I mean, you can't wear cargo pants and things like that. You can't wear jeans. So dress shorts.
Right.
Dress golf shorts would be great.
We have a league back home. It's called the Steve Cook Classic. It's at Steve Center, and he's been kind of in charge of the league for a bunch of years now. And for the longest time, every guy had to wear, not guy, but every competitor had to wear black slacks every Wednesday night to bowl league. Black slacks and your team shirt. That was just the rule, because they wanted to kind of stand out and be the most prestigious league to bowl in the Sacramento area.
Yeah.
And a couple of the presidents have kind of moved on, so they nominated me, and I made one change so far that kind of stuck out the most, and we've elected to wear shorts. Okay. Because we start bowling in late August, early September. It still could be 95 or 100 degrees in California.
Right.
And I'm like, guys, what are we doing? We're bowling league. Why are we wearing black slacks to league? Like, it doesn't make sense. I understand that we're a great league, but it doesn't mean that we need to wear black pants every week. And so we made a big change. And so many compliments. Guys are like, man, thanks for letting us wear shorts. Just a huge change. It was great.
So are you running for president of the United States in
Yeah,
24?
I'm coming up. Yep.
Think so?
Yeah. That's
So Phil, I went and watched PJ Bowl League when we bowled nationals. Yeah. I flew into his house, and so I'm around a lot of league bowling. I have 3 pro shops in Florida all the time.
Yeah.
There are 48 people in this bowling league. The 48th best bowler averaged 215.
Oh, jeez.
Do you have any idea how that's crazy? Like that any geographical area has that many good bowlers.
You know why? Because we used to wear slacks.
That's definitely the reason.
Yeah. There used to be a couple of leagues around here that were pretty high end, but there were still guys. Yeah, but there were still guys. I mean, there used to be a 16-team unlimited cap scratch league at a center on the south side of Milwaukee on Monday nights, and there were. I mean, it was a regular basis for a team to shoot 3,700 in that league.
Yeah.
I mean, but there was still a couple of lower end teams. Yeah, there were still guys averaging 2-0.
Yeah. Here's the thing, guys. We could have 48 guys average 215. We can't get a bracket.
Wow.
We can get a one really good guy, Will Charno. He'll run a $10 eliminator for us.
Yeah.
And that's all the action we get.
Wow.
Can't get a high game pot. Can't get a bracket. Nothing.
Yikes.
I hate to tell you this, bro, but there's a guy that bowls in that league named PJ Haggerty, and I think everybody knows what's going to happen to those brackets. So, Dan Knowlton coming in high, fast 8. Lenny leaving a ring 10 there. I don't know if he's feeling under the weather, but
somebody must have withdrawn on Dan's pair, right? They only have 2.
No, he's had 2 the whole time.
They've had 2 the whole time.
Okay.
Yeah, it's some adjustments they're trying to make with the league program that they use from League Pals. It just makes it a little hard to balance out like last minute. So it's the first year of the event.
Sure.
It's the little things that the PBA keeps working on, because they're making this the best event possible for the players that are showing up. And it doesn't matter if you're a PJ Haggerty or you're a me. They're going to make sure you have a good time while you're here, and they're going to do the best they can. And sometimes it's like, okay, but with these guys bowling PBA match play pace, okay, you bowl 2 lane, bowl your left lane, then right, left. They can pretty much keep pace with the 4 and the pair and not worry about not get out of whack. Yeah. So
I will say this too, because my wife works for Bolero and has been part of this event to a good extent. But I was telling her, it's a brand new tournament.
Yeah.
And whether you're bowling in California or Florida or New York or here or wherever, new tournaments take at minimum 3 to 5 years to get good.
Right.
Like, this has to be something that, number one, bowlers have to continue to show up to support, but it's going to take a year or 2 or 3 to get some kinks out.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at USBCs, it's been around over 100 years, and that tournament does run pretty smooth. There's some hiccups from time to time, but gosh, it's been around so long that they've got it down to a pretty good science. And this will be that, but we just, as bowlers and as competitive bowlers, we need to give it a little bit of I think a few years to get cooking and off the ground.
And it's just we joke around sometimes. It's the Midwest mentality is that, well, let's wait and see how it does, and then we'll do it. Well, the problem is with a lot of, and I've been guilty of this as well, with running tournaments where you run it for the first year, and I've gone, you know what, guys, either you show up now, or I'm not waiting. I'm not doing the Midwest mentality kind of thing. So
look,
I've noticed as this tournament's gone on, we've been getting a lot of later entrants from area bowlers. So it's nice to see that guys are coming up from Chicago, and they're doing it. I saw Melanie McDaniel, who's a PWBA player. She's like, yeah, I saw there was openings, and I came up. I knew there was openings this weekend. I didn't remember my schedule. I came up, and I've seen several other players do the same thing. So it's nice to see that people aren't waiting. Let's see what the first year does, especially the ones that can drive here in an hour or two.
Sure.
And kudos to the PBA and to Bolero for putting on this event and giving us something to bowl. And I mean, I appreciate just being able to hang with the dudes for another weekend every year, and it's something fun to do. And I think it's a nice change of pace that it's geographically kind of in the middle of the country, so like it's a little bit easier to get to. Obviously a lot of our major events tend to happen on the West Coast, so for somebody like me that lives in Florida, it's a hassle, and a lot of times it's pretty expensive to fly across the country, and you got to take off work. And this is something that's obviously more accommodating. They have team and doubles and this kind of stuff, but you don't have to match up schedules with everybody, so it's nice. It really is, and I hope it takes off. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, 3 weeks ago, Joey Pants was here, or not Joey Pants, John Fury was here 3 weeks ago.
Sure.
And he put up 8-11 his last 3 games, and
right.
he had signed up himself, and Joey Pants, Mike Zangsky out of Delaware, and now Ryan Schaefer's finishing off that team today. So these guys bowled over 4 weekends to make up their team.
Sure.
And and having that great start that Fury put up there, we'll see how they do.
Sure.
Yeah, it is cool that you can, pop in, sign your team up or sign your doubles up, and then let your other guys know. Like Matt Gasson, first,
he signed us
he was
up,
the first weekend.
Oh.
And he goes, I think he bowled 720 or something.
Something like that with 300 last
three,
year.
for his team score.
Yeah.
And so we now know that, man, if me and Dave, and he also put Billy O'Neill was on our team.
Okay.
So if we put up a decent number the last 3, gosh, we have a chance at winning that team thing, and we don't have to coordinate, the same weekend. And, if it just doesn't really, work out like that, then, the schedules don't have to, they don't always have to match up. So I don't know. It's a cool format. I like the idea. And, also that you can bowl with some of the guys that you see on TV that, pretty small likelihood that they're going to ever ask you to bowl a doubles event, but you could at least go, hey, I'm going to bowl with Kyle Troop and use a score, or Chris Prather or EJ or whoever,
But even on days like today, like you show up for the 9 o'clock squad, and you have Verity Crowley, John Janowitz, Diana Zavalova. I mean, you've got some, and it's been happening on a lot of squads where there's people who are just making their way into town. All of a sudden, hey, it's Joey Pants. People know him off his social media and that type of thing. And, when he made the Masters a few years ago in Syracuse. So the basis for this event has been awesome. And I just wish more people would still get out of these last weekend and a half and give it a chance. If you want to bowl tomorrow, you can bowl tomorrow at 2 o'clock. There's still openings on the 2 o'clock squad. Otherwise, next weekend, you got 9 a.m., 2 p.m., 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. on Saturday, just 2 p.m. on Sunday. And then the pros coming out of the 17th, the top 50.
Yeah. I would just say to all the bowlers that are watching or have thought about coming, this thing's not going anywhere. It's only going to get bigger and better. It's the first year. Any tournament that's run the first year is, there's always going to be some kinks and stuff, but the staff's doing a great job, and they're gonna make this thing better, and it's going to be a really good tournament for years to come.
The staff that Bolero's put together, and that includes a lot of people from around here in Milwaukee that have had tournament experience in the past that are just watching the lanes and making sure that score corrections are done timely, or if there's a quick ball call that needs to be fixed. I mean, these people are on it because they're tournament bowlers that are part of this event that love bowling and are giving back a little bit and
for sure
and helping out and just hey, how you doing, or hey, here's where you go to turn in your score sheet, or what do you need. So the staff's just been great running around, and they've helped me out a bit here in the booth. Times like this I can't always run around and see who's got a front 8, front 9, or whatever like that. And they'll come up and let me know. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So you may not score the best while you're here, but you're going to have a damn good time regardless.
Yep.
And then you get outside the bowling center, and there's so much stuff. Are you guys going to get another round of golfing before you head out? Or?
Man, that would be great.
We're going to run out of time on that one, Phil.
You're out of time?
But that's okay, because if it's back next year,
yeah,
we've got a nice connection, and we know where we can go. And Milwaukee's been great to us, man. It's this is a.
Yeah, I know there's the initials are DL. Is that the guy?
That's
that
right.
Up?
That's
yeah,
right.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's Dretska's.
Shout to him.
Yeah, Dretska's another great county course, and I'm sure he's got connections other places he can get you
Yep.
to. I don't know if he can sneak in at Whistling Straits or anything like that.
Yeah,
but
we were trying.
Yeah.
We were trying, but it didn't work out.
The bowl up that way, by the way, by Nicholas,
Yeah.
is up near Whistling Straits. I played that last year, and I got my ass handed to me, and it was a fun time having my ass handed to me by Jack Nicholas.
Nice.
It was tough. I tried. I played the wrong. I'll be the first one to admit I played the wrong tees, but there were 3 other guys that hit longer than I do, so I was playing from the greens. I should have played from the whites. I usually play about 61, 6,200 to keep my score under 93, 94.
Sure.
And I played from the greens. I got my ass handed to me, but I had a good time doing it. It's
Yeah.
a beautiful course, and it's laid out along the Sheboygan River. Yeah, it's really
Nice.
neat. So
I bet
that's
that's
a
cool.
hidden gem up that way. Enough people don't know about it. Yeah, and Jack Nicholas is an evil bastard.
Yeah.
When it comes to golf
He's
course
good at what he
design.
does.
Yes, he is.
No doubt.
Guys, Lenny's having some transition this game. I've watched like 3 trip 4 type hits, and he just 3-6-10. I think he's getting to the part of the block where he might need to make a jump towards the center part of the lane to find some more oil in the front. It definitely looks like his ball is picking up too quick. So
Yeah.
I'm sure he's trying to milk it as long as he can and get to hopefully a fill ball to where he can try either a different ball or a different angle. But still has 230 on the board here, so he's grinding.
Here's a question for PJ. As we said, he bowled here recently in the World Series of Bowling back in April. You're making the jump from the high end back down to the low end. Is that gonna make a difference in the ball reaction? Did you find that there was a difference in ball reaction from high end to low end?
Big time. The high end, not only was the temperature, I would say, a little warmer down on that high end just because this building is so big, but we made the turn. It's significantly cooler on the low end of the building, but we noticed a lot more hook. Just overall, the lane beds just felt like there was just more hook overall.
friction.
Yeah. So I expect the same. Could be wrong. Anything can happen, but Lenny definitely needs. It looks like he struck there in the 9th, but he's just going to keep moving left and potentially ball down and get something that's going to be a little cleaner and maybe a little more angular down lane just to get it, through the front. But
Definitely a big shot coming up here. First shot in the 10th for him.
yeah, he's still clean through, almost 5 games. If
49 clean.
Yeah, if he has a nice 10th frame here. And Phil, I don't know of any other guys that are real close to him. I mean, he's 200 and, he's a couple hundred over.
I
And
think so. Let's take a quick run through on Lane Talk and see what we can find here.
Well, leading. Well, this is also the senior division, so I don't know what
Yeah.
was leading the seniors, but I know in our
14,
division
it was just 14-14. It wasn't
okay.
a ton. Billy Montz was
Okay.
the leader after last weekend. Trevor Roberts is sitting at 148 over after 5, so that's not going to get there. Braden Malish, he just opened in the 10th. He went open in the first, open in the 10th, and then he's at 167 over 1 to go. Yeah, there's not a lot of people close to what Lenny's putting up right now.
yeah.
Tom Hess 11 plus 119 through 5. Yeah, there's not a lot. Don Hogue Hogue's 174 over through 5.
Okay.
And he went double, open, and then sheet
Wow.
in game 5.
Wow.
Thanks to our friends at Lane Talk.
Yeah, Lane Talk's awesome, by the
Yeah,
way.
it is.
Man, those stats are cool.
Yeah.
So I guess Lenny's mentality here, Dave, correct me if I'm wrong, but he probably knows he's in pretty good shape so far, but it's super easy to get ahead of yourself and think about, man, if I bowl another good game and I finish out this 10th, I'm on TV in a few months and, bowling for, X amount of dollars and, having a run at this thing. But, man, what Lenny really needs to do here is he missed in the 8th. He struck in the 6th. He struck in the 4th. So he's only missed once on this left lane. Man, just get up there and hit your target and make it a good one instead of getting ahead of yourself and thinking about, what the end result is.
So Couch with the game in the 240s this last game.
He's got a good score.
He's plus 189 after 5.
Yeah.
So Barnes can get the plus 180.
Okay.
Walter A's faded a little bit. Walter A plus 81. And the non-Hall of Famer on that pair has a chance to get, well, he's not going to make it the plus after 5. So
That's in.
that's still got to be.
Wow.
He kind of waved it left.
I
Wow,
know.
that was definitely
He
in.
wanted to cross over.
Yeah.
Yeah, back to what you were saying, Peach. I mean, this is just, it sounds cliche, but, staying in the moment, staying in your process and just reacting to what you see and just bowling. As somebody as experienced as him, he's been in positions like this. He's got multiple Eagles, PBA titles, Hall of Fame. Like, this is not his first rodeo. But definitely threw it over his pinky toe there, the first one in the 10th, and it laid there. So that's definitely a good sign. So, Peach, if you're him and you're going high every shot and you miss left like that and it goes through the pins like it just did, does that make you rethink your strategy? Like,
Yes.
maybe I should be playing the lane like this.
Right. Yes, it does.
I think that actually
And he did it again.
Lenny's going to stay on the high end next
He
game.
did it again. Great shot.
They're
Great
only moving
Huge.
two pairs, so he's on 59.60 right now. So he's going to move. Yeah, he'll move to 63 and 4 next. So he doesn't make
Okay.
he misses the turn back.
I would say that's a really good sign for Lenny. Not only that double, but
Huge.
that he stays on that high end where he's not going to see a massive change, you wouldn't think, by coming down to the low end.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's going to be, what, 290 over? Is that right?
290 over.
Ish.
Yep. Ish.
Because he's right. So he'll have another 60. So that should be 290 over. I think on the dot if he strikes
Just
here on the
lowered his
fill.
average a bunch, though.
Yeah, tough. It's just a tough pair. What's he going to do?
Yeah.
Feel for the poor guy.
Yeah.
Doesn't like that one. Stares it down and still trips the 4.
I'll tell you what. That is the fourth trip for that game.
Yep.
You see the huge smile on the way back.
Good for him.
He's having a dream block, man. This is these are the
Seriously.
blocks you want.
Seriously.
Well,
You
hopefully,
got to catch those hits, man.
hopefully it doesn't end in a nightmare for him. So we got one more game to go on this block. Guys, I'll let you go watch that last game in person. I'm going to drag Blanchard in here.
Sounds
'Cause
good.
Apparently we have to talk. No, we don't have to talk about regions. I want to talk to him about what it's like changing careers, and I'm sure a lot of the fans would like to find out too when the career change going from player to tournament director and regional manager. So we'll have Josh Blanchard in shortly. David, PJ, guys, thanks for a fun 3 games. It was a
Thanks
good
for
chat.
having
Phil.
us.
Appreciate it,
Appreciate
guys.
it,
man.
Game 6 coming up next. And game 6, we're going to stick. Hey, when you got a leader that's having, let's face it, a hell of a day, we're going to stick with him. Lenny Borsch, 290 over after 5 games. Josh Blanchard, were you ever 290 over after 5 games in anything? Tournament, league, 5-game league, anything like that? I never have been.
With handicap.
With handicap. Oh, man. Here he is. The man who's so good at doing his job, they let him manage 2 regions for the PBA.
Or the only man that's stupid enough. I haven't figured out.
Josh Blanchard. Josh, you're on the 7 o'clock squad tonight doing a little intel while you're here. And I dig the relaxed atmosphere of the LBC Championships. It's kind of cool watching Walter Ray bowl in shorts and bowl well. You had Chris Barnes throw 300. You got Neil Stremmel trying to tell you how to do your job sometimes. Hi, Neil. No. So it's a fun event for year 1 of this event, and hopefully many more to come.
Yeah. It's exciting. There's a lot of Hall of Famers bowling the squad, a lot of my friends, so it's exciting to get to see them bowl in a relaxed environment, exactly like you said. They come back, they talk to you, they're relaxed, unlike a PBA event where they're very serious and they don't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
There's still some guys that are showing their emotions, their true colors, but overall, exciting event and happy to be here.
Is it been, 2 years now since you basically gave up the tour life for the regional life?
Almost 3.
Almost 3 it's been.
2020.
Okay.
2020.
So.
Yeah, this is September. Will be 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you seem to be very comfortable in the new hat, I guess you could say, with wearing the regional manager hat and tournament director hat. And, I mean, we got to see a little bit of you on side shots once in a while when they'd come up there. And at the PBA Tour Finals, you got to
I found that out.
Direct that.
I found that out after the case. I didn't know. Me and Chris Prather were having our own words, and most people thought I was his ball rep, and little did they know I was not his ball rep. Chris and I were having our own conversations off to the side, but I'm enjoying my role. I'm enjoying being involved in the professional side. Still see the same people week in and week out, just on the other side of the table. That's all it is. But overall, if I feel like if I can make an impact on this side more than I can on the lanes, even though I felt like I made an impact on the lanes, I'm making more of an impact now. Then I feel like it's a win-win for the sport as a whole.
Still pretty cool, though. I mean, TOC. I mean, you made a nice run at the TOC, coming out of retirement, as some might say. And what did you have to? Because I thought back in the day, PBA regional directors couldn't bowl PBA events and other things. Do you have to get like a special blessing from Tom Clark, or?
So now you're trying to start a fire here.
Oh.
No, there was a rule back in the day, but under new ownership, under Bolero owns the PBA, there was a rule change that allowed us to compete in events that we are not involved in.
Yeah.
So I can't compete, obviously, anything in my own regions. I can go to another region and compete, but I cannot. So it's a blessing, and it helps trying to find somebody that wants the job, because now you can still kind of keep those fires kindling that are inside of you without giving it up as a whole. And I would say I've given it up 90%. There's still 10% of me that enjoys it, and I want to, but overall I use all of my time and extra emotion into my current role, so I don't have as much time to focus on practice as required to compete with the guys out there.
And, I mean, it's kind of funny how a lot of times in bowling it ends up becoming a family affair in what you do. Like right now, my wife's running down the lanes here. We'll see game 6 of 6 on the graphic shortly. She's starting to low end on the way to the high end. So I've got my assistant with my wife, and you have your assistant with your wife, Amy, with getting things done in the West and Northwest region. So it's kind of nice that it can still be a family affair for you.
Yeah, she loves it. She might love it more than I do. But she ran the event in Utah last week for me. I was obviously the tour finals, so I was not able to. But she ran the event for me in Utah, and she did a great job. And I'm happy that she's embraced the role of that, and she enjoys it. She enjoys watching bowling, and I think she really just enjoys being the boss. She likes being the boss at home. So,
and it's not just a lot of people know you from your PBA career. A lot of people know you from now being the regional director out west, and what something people might not know is you have other business ventures as well that you're juggling while you're doing all this.
Yeah. Overall.
When do you sleep? Is the question. I was getting to that.
On my flights.
On the flights.
On my flights. That's when I like to catch a cat nap. But yeah, it's been funny. I've run PBA Junior now for 3 years, and some of the bowlers. I was just in Hawaii running PBA Junior, and the young girl who is a national qualifier from Hawaii. I've known her for 3 years. She said, "I didn't know that you bowled." She literally said, "I didn't know that you actually bowled." I said, "You could find it on YouTube." And she goes, "Wow, I just thought you ran a tournament. I never knew that you actually bowled."
Never say you can find it on YouTube, because then the one clip that comes up is you falling in the gutter at the World Series.
That's all right.
Yeah,
that's
okay.
all right. But
okay.
yeah, so it's funny when I run these that when I look at the birth dates for all of these bowlers, they all were born after I was in college. So not that I'm old by any means, but it really it makes you feel old for a second when you see all of their birthdays.
Yeah, you look at the birthdays and go, yeah. Okay, anything after 2000's bad enough, let alone.
Yeah, now you see 2009, 2010 as the birthdays. You're like, whoa.
So, what was the impetus with PBA Junior? You mentioned running it, and I know I've done some work with Mike Sleds and doing a lot of work with local and state tournament series. Like in Wisconsin here, you have the Wisconsin Youth Bowlers Tour and the Junior Scholarship Bowlers Tour. You got the EYT, where they're affiliates of the PBA Junior membership. What was the impetus to get involved with these other tournament series as well?
It came down to stop trying to fight them and work with them.
Okay.
There are a lot of opportunities for youth bowlers nowadays across the country, and a lot of money up for grabs. And there's only so many bowling centers and so many kids out there. So instead of trying to conflict schedules with them, we want to work with them and say, hey, you have an event this weekend. We want to work with you and get you points that can earn you towards the end of the year scholarship, and not try to host tournaments against you and hurt your entry. So it was trying to work together as a whole for youth bowling, and that was all Mike Sled's initiative, and he's done a good job at it, and we'll only get better as it progresses. There's areas throughout the country that we cannot access. There's parts of Anchorage, Alaska. There's some rural areas in North Dakota, South Dakota, where we can't reach. We can't physically have an event there. But we want those kids to have an experience and be a PBA Junior member and be a part of something. So this is the opportunity for them to be a part of something without us running tournaments in every state throughout the country, because we just don't have the manpower to do that.
And the cool part about that is that it's not just getting points that can accumulate for other events they have in their own tournament series, but they can get scholarships from PBA Junior from the points they accumulate in these other tournaments, along with the PBA Junior events. So that's pretty cool. That it's like how could a junior series go wrong being a PBA affiliate?
Yep.
Because there's no risk to them, and there's more additional scholarship money that their bowlers could win just signing on the dotted line. There's no other thing they need to do. Send you guys results and points, and there you go.
Absolutely. We know travel costs are a lot, and we don't want to force someone to travel and spend $1,000 in expenses when they could maybe just stay inside their hometown and bowl something and earn points in that hometown without having $1,000 in expenses.
Well, we've seen Lenny Borsch having a heck of a day too, but now you got a young man here, Trey Henrichmeyer. Got to see this young man. I ran a youth tournament. We live streamed in conjunction with the Brands of Brunswick prior to the World Series of Bowling here. And we got to see Trey bowl. He was impressive then, and he's got a chance to get to 15-28. If he can go off the sheet, that would be an open classic lead, with Lenny Borsch Jr. being in the senior classic division.
Yeah.
And this is one of those things where the advantage of being a youth player, being
is.
able to bowl on
just 3 more.
Yeah, being able to bowl this event.
A double gets him the lead, I think. What is it,
1507.
Oh, so double 9 spare gets him the tie.
Yep.
I think, yeah.
So, no.
Be
Strike.
7,
Oh, yeah,
79?
double. You're right. Double 9 spare would be a tie.
Yeah, he needs a turkey, yeah.
So we'll have to see if the young man can handle the pressure.
Is he from here?
He's from Wisconsin, yeah. So I know he bowls a couple of the local youth tours around here, and I can't remember if he was a senior this year or not.
Okay.
So he made the finals. There's another one of his lane mates bowling nearby, Braden Malish, who's going to Wichita State and just won the Chuck Pisano IBMA Media Scholarship. So,
Well, a good young man. How do you like him?
Yeah, I put my vote in for him for the scholarship. He had an exceptional package. He does a great job in social media, and that's what he's taking. He's taking video production and media production at Wichita State. So, and I believe he's already been named to the
Selected team?
Select team. So yeah, so good young man. We were watching him a little while before. He had a pretty interesting pair of pants, half black, half white, like something Kyle.
Oh,
would
I
wear.
did. I saw them down on
Yeah.
the high end. I was watching on the high end.
Yeah,
and he
so
was down there.
I think he's
There's
still
two of
down
them
there
on
now.
that pair. I think two of them had that kind of. Maybe one
Yeah.
of them only had the pants, but they both
Yeah,
had the shirt.
they both had the shirt.
They're right there on 42 and
Yeah.
42 and 43, or 43 and 44, something like that.
Yeah, so
They're
we
right
got.
there.
Let's get back to Lenny really quick before Trey will fire in his 9th frame.
Lenny's just
Oh, come on, 7-pin.
one of those guys. It's not pretty, but he is so efficient at what he does. It's unbelievable.
He's taken my money for years around here. Yeah, I just
taking a
finally
lot of
stopped.
people's.
Right, I
Hall of
just
Famer.
stopped. Yeah,
That was an emotional speech he gave this year, and
yeah.
I
When
was happy to be there.
how about that front 9? We could have a new leader in Open Classic, and we definitely are gonna have a new leader in Senior Classic.
I don't think that senior one's getting touched. There's only 2 more
You
seniors
know, I
bowling
thought-
in the next squad. So
I thought Verity shooting 15-22 this morning. I'm like, that could beat out everybody for the entire tournament. And
Oh,
now
'cause
it's
she
just
passed
like
the Open.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
yeah.
she's in the Women's Classic division.
we got
so-
Daria tonight. Daria's on our
That's
squad
true.
tonight, so you never know.
Yeah, but I
Don't
mean,
count her out.
no. But when you just think about 15, whatever, yeah, it's amazing. So
I'll give a shout out to Miss Maddie and my wife. They're listening back home. So hello, ladies. Hopefully you guys are having a good night. But here in beautiful Wauwatosa, I remember the first time I was here, 2005, the Masters, I believe, was here. I think
Yep.
Sean won. That was my first ever PBA national stop.
Oh, was it?
I
Okay.
bowled the nationals here, so it's nice to come back 18 years later. God,
Yeah.
I feel old.
oh yeah.
Or Sean feels old that he won the Masters 18 years ago. I don't know, one of the two. But, yeah, that was the first time I ever stepped foot in this
No,
building.
Danny Wiseman was 04 and Sean was 07.
Okay, so it was 07 then.
07 was
Okay.
your first. Okay,
Okay,
so that's
so-
only 16 years. So
Only
it's not too
16.
bad. Were you still in college? Then,
Yeah, I
or-
was in
okay.
my sophomore year in
Okay.
college. Yeah.
When did you know that you wanted to be a professional bowler? Like, I'm sure it was before you went to college where you knew you wanted to be a
I would say
professional
the age
bowler.
8 or 9.
Okay.
To be
That
honest.
young, okay.
I thought, this is what I want to do. And then everyone tried to talk me out of it forever. You can't make any money. You shouldn't do it, blah, blah. And at the end of the day, you know what? I've gotten to see the world. I have friends from around the world. I have a beautiful wife from bowling. All of those things I would have never had if I had not taken up the career in bowling and stuck with it. So any of those kids out there that are listening that say, don't do it, well, guess what? This young man right here on lane 55, he's about to take the lead here with a strike.
Can you imagine this? Can you imagine Trey making his way to Portland for that eliminator shootout?
I'll be
They're
there.
going to have an FS1. You're going to be a
I'll be
tournament
there. I'll
director
be the
for
tournament
that?
director for that.
So that's a beautiful thing to know. I'm going to try to sneak my way out there one way or another for PBA Elite League.
So
no
a
doubt about
strike
that.
gets him the lead.
Yep.
9 spare gets him a tie. 8 or less, he does not take the lead here.
Yeah, Derek Kindig, 1507. I wonder if Derek's watching down in the St. Louis area right now. I know he's a good friend of AJ Johnson's. So everybody knows Josh. Tom, how's it going, Bakes? Mr. Lawrence, once again. This is a cool day.
Here it is.
Come on, kid.
Oh,
there's
takes the
one
lead.
There we go.
Got a new leader.
I'm going to be interviewing a few people between rounds here. My goodness.
I hope I have 1228 for 6, not for 5. Might eclipse me by 300 pins today.
This could be the biggest age difference in leaders I've had at a tournament forever. You got
35, 40 years difference between.
He's 18 and Lenny's 60. It's like
Yeah.
42 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Trey's more than 18 years old. I think he was a senior in high school this year.
At most, he's 18.
Right. Can you imagine knowing that you might have a chance for a $25,000 scholarship walking out of this from the LBC National Championships?
Wow.
And then getting your chance to get more money and going to Portland?
Wow.
What do
Just
you-
being
what
in
are-
that environment.
Right. I mean, what
There's
are
the
people waiting
300.
for? Come on!
Oh,
Take
300.
that 10-pin out.
Wow, impressive.
Trey Heinrichsmeyer, 300, and your new leader at 15:28.
Lenny's got something to shoot for now.
Yes, indeed. Speaking of which, let's get back to Lenny.
He needs 230 for 29.
Yeah, if he keeps going spare 3-bagger, I think he's in pretty good shape for that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, once again, easily in the lead for Senior Classic. But, yeah, you want to put as many pins as between you and the lead.
You alluded to it, but what a great opportunity just for a youth bowler to have an opportunity to bowl in the event.
Yeah.
Not just the money. Obviously, 25,000 is 25,000.
Right.
We never had that. But just to bowl on the same squad as Hall of Famers. There are at least a dozen Hall of Famers bowling this squad.
And I guarantee you a lot of them are going to come up and get handshakes and take pictures with it. Can I get your picture, kid? I wouldn't surprise me if one or two of them said that.
And he beat them all.
Yeah. By a ton. How about that, Lenny? Sorry, I'm a homer in the booth. It always happens.
He's got home field advantage.
Oh, there's no doubt. Well, that's what I was telling you. They were saying that before, but I said back in the day when this was like a big local tournament hub before this is, before the turn of the century, the 24 side was a big side for tournaments. They had the Wisconsin State match singles and doubles and team events all over there. And, I mean, every weekend it was just qualifying for like 3 weekends of the month for one event, and then they had the finals the last weekend. So you had all these different events they do it, but they were all on the 24 side. There wasn't much tournament bowling on the 48 side unless they had the Wisconsin State tournament in there. Is that Walter Ray at the front?
No, he's got 290 going through 8.
290?
Yeah, 290 going right in front of us here on the low end.
He's
with Chris Barnes.
Let's take a peek in here. Yeah, Couch was sitting pretty good. Well, Couch is at 13:58. Couch is going to be a distant second.
Barnes is right there with him.
Yeah.
They were close after 5 games. They were close.
But
so
yeah.
Walter had 151 over. Barnes had 170 over. Looks like Couch had about 180 over. Is that right? Or is that just 80 over?
No, Lenny's going to fire first, though. We'll get back to Walter Ray in a second. Of course, they're going to fire at the same time.
Oh, that's way inside. Yikes. Easily his worst shot of the day.
And, of course, we go away from Walter Ray. I blame that on you.
Well,
booth curse.
That's all right. I've been blamed for worse in my job. Don't worry.
Hey, so knowing the pattern, you had to make travel here a little bit easier for you, knowing what you had to bring on the plane or what you thought you could bring on the plane.
What you thought? I thought it would play different, and I showed up, and I'm watching these guys, and I'm like, that's not what I thought I was going to be doing, but we'll see. You never know. That's the thing about bowling.
Yeah.
Every day, every ball, every game, you never know. You have to be open-minded, use your imagination. Whatever the lane gives you, you do.
Trying to figure out what's older, Walter Ray's Black Diamond bowling ball or me. I've tried to find the serial. I've tried to sneak down there and look at the serial number once in a while on that ball.
The serial number was actually a stone carved. They chiseled it out.
Oh,
that's a tough spare.
Just gets it down. He's clean through 58 frames. He had a 2-4-10
really?
he made. He had a 2-4-10 he made in game 4.
Has anybody had 60 clean?
I haven't seen anything close to 60 clean. I think Kindig even at one open.
I think
his round.
If it happens, knock on wood or knock on plastic, whatever we got. Next year we're going to call it the Borscht. You can get in the Borscht.
There you go.
You can get in the Borscht. It's 60 clean. It's $10. You can get in the Borscht and see who wins the Borscht.
There we go. Why not? Why not name it after the initial person putting it up? So, I don't think we have any other runs at 300 going. Let's take one more peek where it might be happening. That's a big negative. So we are gonna focus now. Let's see what Lenny can.
I'm just gonna
do
go
here.
on an outside limb here, and based on the speed and kind of forward, I wouldn't say roll, but forward trajectory that Lenny has, I think A.J. Johnson has a really good chance to put up a big number next week.
Okay.
He's a guy who has a high speed. He's familiar with this area. He likes to play the lanes similar to how Lenny's playing them. He doesn't like to belly it a bunch. I can see him putting up a big number next week.
Lenny with the big punch through the pins. He can get the 15:35.
He needs a double to beat the kid, right? He's got to
Yeah.
double.
Yeah. And, there were a couple of the players, and Tom Hess was one of them on the senior side, and I think Chris Barnes didn't debate it too much, but they're kind of going like, okay, what's going on? Because the guaranteed money for the senior championship is $5,000 on top. For the Open Classic, it's $25,000.
Yeah,
so they're
Lenny
like,
could cost himself $20,000.
Yeah,
right here.
but you kind of think about, okay, your age, who's got a bowl yet, that kind of thing, and
But they got a chance to make more money in Portland.
yeah.
And a chance at the Duke.
John Burkett just asked in the chat, what does good great mean? Is it better than great or just below great?
Whatever you think, John. Where are you at? I thought
thought
you were
he was
bowling the
here,
squad.
yeah.
He bowled this morning, I think.
I don't remember seeing him. I
He's
thought
at
he
a-
would have stopped by the booth.
He's at a card room. That's why he's not
Oh, okay.
here. I know that's where he's at.
I just had a chance to finally flip back at the chat. Now I feel bad because he's probably been talking for the last. Well, what happened is that you get PJ in the booth, and then nobody wants to talk to him, and then that O'Sullivan guy. Well, that was a ratings killer right there. Hi, Dave. Hi, PJ. Just kidding, guys. No, it's been a good day. So
Jeff Johnson, good shot.
it's so weird on some of these pairs. You see the 6 come out in front of the 10 on some of these sets. I'm trying to figure out why that happens.
Haugen's walking by us right now, but I watched him for 3 or 4 frames, and the 10 fell forward 3 or 4 shots in a row. And he was like counting his blessings, slopping them out. I just said, that doesn't happen.
I remember Randy freaking out. Well, you were there for the tour finals,
Yeah.
and that was happening. Where
Oh, the 10
ra-
pin
yeah, the
slid
10 pin
over.
was just.
That was incredible.
Well, that and the 10 pin falling forward. It was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the
Yeah,
base
you're right.
Of the,
You're
base
right.
of the base of the 6 would hit the 10.
You're right.
And it did that for Prather a couple times. Yeah.
9 hours of live TV, just it all runs together.
Hey.
Runs together for you.
Hey, trust me. Welcome to 9 hours of live streaming. I'm
Nice
it's like
game, Jeff. That was a huge finish.
Yeah. Got himself to 13. Well, he'll get himself to 1,400.
14-0. Yeah, 14-0. 200 over.
He's going to fall a little short of being top 2.
What's top 2 right now?
Well,
obviously Lenny.
And then 14-14 was Bill Mott's. And then whatever gets put up down here, let's take a quick peek.
Barnes is 250 left.
So Barnes can get the 14-22. Yeah, you can get the
Is that
14-22. Yeah, so.
Yep.
And then
And the top 2 seniors make it?
top 2 seniors make it to
Oh,
Portland.
he's got a chance. Oh, that's 12. Never mind.
Yeah, Walter can get to 14-10, yeah.
Yeah, but Jason, 14-15,
14-15.
he had a chance.
Yeah,
there
Jason too, yeah.
in the 10th frame.
All right, Bonds. Sorry, Bill. You said your score wasn't going to hold it for long. Yeah, exactly 2 squads.
What did John Janowitz have?
Not a lot. He had a slow start. Yeah,
Really?
he had a rough start.
He
So.
bowled great yesterday in that regional.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to Lenny here because yikes.
Oh, 2-8-10.
So he'll be your senior leader.
1490 something.
And
Not
not
1503.
yeah, 1503. So there's your new senior leader. We have a new Open Classic Division leader, and we have Josh Blanchard, who's going to be bowling at 7 o'clock tonight. So make sure you come back
Hope everyone
at
goes to
7
bed.
o'clock.
Whatever
Oh,
pair I'm
because-
on, don't watch that pair, all right?
well, if you pay me enough, we'll stay off you because that guy right there, you see,
That's
with
where
Chris
I'm
Barnes
starting.
is going to be in the.
I'm
You're starting on that pair.
31-2.
Well, you
so
can see it's done pretty well so
maybe
far.
Chris can just change the initials and bowl for me the next squad. That would be great.
I gotta have him in the. Well, that's fine. You
He's
can
in
be
the booth.
Yeah, he's in the booth with me.
Oh,
That's
God.
why
He is.
we start with
he is
you.
going to ridicule me. I cannot listen to this. So he needs 8 or more. He's got it.
Oh, does he?
14, 20.
So it'd be we'll see when the score
It's 8.
pops up.
It's 8.
It's
14,
8,
20.
So
What
it was
Bill
14, 14-14, and
Okay, he
Couch
got
at
it.
14-15. So yeah, so that's your new second currently
14, 20.
with a little time to go. And yeah.
Oof.
With that, we wrap up the broadcasting day
Well,
here
hey,
until
thanks.
7 o'clock. Hey,
Thank you.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you very much. I appreciate it. Hopefully everyone enjoys Phil's awesome job. It's not easy to do this for hour after hour after hour. I can attest to that. Yeah,
I
it's
mean-
not easy to come up with commentary, words, content. So all the credit goes to you, my friend.
Thanks, I appreciate that, and especially because we can drag. We got 40 pairs or 40 lanes in coverage, And we can drag them all into our main feed here, which has been great. And people can watch every feed, every shot, every round of this PBA LBC National Championships. Tell me what other tournament you can do that with. Not many that I know of. So 7 o'clock tonight, Central, 8 Eastern, we're back. Thanks, Josh.
Thanks.